All right. Hello. Good evening. It's a great night to be a Rattler. Welcome to the ONG Strike Zone. What's that going on? Oh, no. Welcome to, I was thrown off by something. Bryan Fulford, Kelvin Rozier, Marcus Green, or from left to right on the screen, Marcus Green. I'm Bryan Fulford, and that's Kelvin Rozier. Brothers, how you doing tonight?
Well, looking forward to Saturday.
Hey, it's a great day to be a Rattler, man. Come on now.
It is. It's always a great
energy,
day.
Marcus, pick up the energy.
I know you ain't talking. I'm looking forward to the first. Hey, I'm looking forward to the first segment. Starting off with something positive.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Because
I might have something to say tonight.
Well, a lot of people have something to say. A lot of people got things to say.
Yeah.
I'm gonna side on. I'm gonna be positive. I'm gonna talk about the positive, the good things that we got to talk about. It's always a good day to be a Rattler, man. Even when you were hunted,
the dark clouds gather on the horizon.
Yeah. Even when you're trying to get out of the valley of the shadow of death, all of it. It's still a great day to be a Rattler because we can climb our way out. Yeah, definitely. We are the ONG Strike Zone. We cover FAMU Athletics and Culture right here on the Black College Sports Network. Say hello to all of our friends wherever and however you're watching us. Please make sure to follow if you're not already following us on X, Instagram, Facebook, and on YouTube. Sports Network, X, Twitter feed, all those of you who are on Jericho Broadcasting. We
up on other media platforms.
You have a blue. That's what you're implying. We page and stream so StrikeZone.
Yeah,
it is. I'm gonna tell you. Well, all right. Well, you guys will survive. You're here to listen to Kelvin and Marcus. You don't want to hear from me. I don't have nothing good to say. You want to hear from Marcus and Kelvin.
Yeah, you're gonna have to check your controls at some point, man. So,
well, look, how about this? Y'all go ahead and you see that Cash App sign right there? That Cash App, that my JVM, my BCSN, or hit the super chats, and I can maybe afford some new audio equipment. So there we go. I don't know. It looks like I'm getting. My signals tell me I'm getting a good signal.
Well, everybody's saying you need to restart, man. Saying it's choppy, they aren't able to hear, so maybe we need to restart it.
It's not the connection. I don't know what it is.
Okay. Yes. You know how computer technology are sometimes. You either hit it or you turn it on and turn it off. And then, wow.
Yeah. If the stream is lagging, that is not on this end. Look, I don't know what's going on, folks. I appreciate all of you. You know, I don't know why the stream is lagging. You know,
you got your
it's an internet
Wi-Fi?
based. I'm not on Wi-Fi. That's the thing.
I'm saying, I know, but you got it off though.
Yes, as a matter of fact, I did cut it off. Yep.
Okay.
I did. Yeah.
All right. So you better now.
Settle down. Yeah, I see the comments. I appreciate it. Y'all agitate. Look, I'm trying to.
Ooh, I was about to say something. I was about to say something, but I want to start.
All that positive energy. I'm just saying,
gone.
man.
It's gone. It's gone. It is officially gone. It's gone. Y'all have ruined it for me. I tried to come in here positive. You know, last week y'all wanted me to give these ridiculous ass scenarios last week, and I tried to warn y'all. When none of that stuff gonna happen, and look what happened. See, but anyway. So how are you guys doing? Let me stop. Because I'm already agitated. Already, I'm trying to. Coming up on the show here, coming up real quick now, Coach Gokhan Yilmaz, aka Gokhan, as he has been officially dubbed, our head volleyball coach of our unbeaten 16-0, 13-0 in Lawson, no losses in Lawson, our volleyball team. I see it, Marcus. I see it. They're really ticking me off. Rose Mike pissing me off now. Don't get me started. I'm already wound up. I'm wound up. I'm trying to be.
There's some good one-liners in there, though.
Yeah. Folks got some good ones. Yeah. You know, look. You know, the crazy part is, I was having a good Saturday evening. I avoided all of the chaos that went on in the 24 hour. I avoided it all. Man. I really did.
Where's that meme with Elmo and the fire in the background?
yeah, exactly. Just nothing good, nothing to see here. I avoided it all. I had a good Sunday evening, but y'all bringing it out on me right now. So, but anyway, look, Ezekiel said, "Don't worry about being positive." All right. A lot of us, yeah, it is what it is. We'll move forward. That's why we're starting the show talking about volleyball. We ain't talking about no other sports other than volleyball to start the show. So y'all come in here, you want to talk about a championship winning team, a team that is unbeaten in the SWAC, a team that's unbeaten in Lawson, a team that did their damn job in their home, on their home court and on their home, surface. We're gonna talk about volleyball. That's what we're gonna talk about. Okay, save the Earthlink jokes, the AOL dial-up, all that other crap. Y'all save all that. Save the jokes.
Keep them coming. I love them.
Nah, the heck with that, man. The heck with that. All right, we don't have much time to do shout-outs, but I'm gonna do them real quick because we want to get in, real quick. Let's see. We say hello to Jimmy Mack. Jimmy Mack, come in. Good to see you, Jimmy Mack. Exactly. It's Florida Classic week. On the Bethune-Cookman. It's time to focus on those mangy cats and try to get that out the way. Happy birthday again. For those of you, Kelvin, celebrated a birthday. Happy birthday, Kelvin.
Thank you. And thank you to everybody who wished me a happy birthday. It was one of the best ever. I hit the big 5-4. And, the people at work, treated me real nice and well. And then afterwards, my wife and friends, came out to celebrate. So, man, I thoroughly enjoyed myself, and I appreciate each and every one of you.
Amen. And so it was a good weekend, and of course on Sunday we celebrated as the heavenly birthday of our beloved friend Kofi Hemingway on Sunday. We appreciate. I know Scotty had a marathon of his shows that he did with Kofi on Afterglow, running on his channel. So shout out to Scotty for running that, and shout out to any and everybody who who took advantage of sending a donation to Lourdes and Majesty via their Cash Apps through watching his show. Much love and I appreciate it. You know, if we had a bigger staff, you know, we might have put together some old episodes, but you know, we're running with a 3-man crew and the interns are in the back eat popcorn and Cheetos. So it's hard to get the interns to do any work around here, but you know, it's all love anyway. Shout out to Melissa Wilson jumping in. Marcus JY, we thank you, Marcus. Thank you for being a JBM subscriber. Dr. Lori, we appreciate you as well. Let me see, kind of going through here any names that I see. Good to see Tony. Thank you, Tony, for coming in. Coach Barassi, Coach, we appreciate you. Meredith, say hello to you, Meredith, as well. Mary 305 coming in. Thank you, Meredith. Mr. Campbell, good to see Mr. Campbell in there. Ezekiel Love as well. B. Starks, good to see you, B. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for being a part. Derek Singleton checking in. Good to see you, Derek. Let's see. Any other people? Gail, how you doing, Gail? We don't need to know any predictions because I don't think anybody hit anything on the predictions. Just all L's across the board. Little baby, good to see you, little baby. James Austin, good to see you, James. Chuck Hunt checking in from Monroe, Louisiana. JT asking if you got the belt out. I don't know. Kevin may have a surprise for us in hour 2. Who knows? You never know. And then here we get into, I got to fast forward here through all of everybody's mentions. Also playing live right now, women's basketball game is playing live on ESPN and ESPN Plus for those of you who are streaming. And, you know, Kylan said, Kylan's watching the game. And said it's FAMU versus the officials and West Georgia, man. That 5 versus 8 is hard. That's a hard hill to climb when it's 5 versus 8. So we'll see. Currently, we're only down 6 right now in the second quarter. So
third quarter.
Oh, is it third quarter? Okay, well,
we got 29. We got 29 points.
Well, and that's what threw me off. I saw the score and I thought it's the second quarter. I saw 30-36 and I'm thinking, oh, that's the second quarter. Oh no, that's the third quarter. Oh, all right. Well, anyway. All right. Well, fellas, let's kind of move this show forward because I think our first guest is in the waiting room and ready to come join the show. Again, want to encourage any and everybody, hit the thumbs up button. If the audio is better, you hit the thumbs up button. That's how I know the audio is good. And otherwise, if I don't see any thumbs up and the likes, then I know the audio is still an issue. So we appreciate everybody where you can hit that thumbs up and the like button and so on and so forth. Marcus, I just saw your text. That's funny. All right. Well, again, coming up, the SWAC regular season champions are our volleyball team, and they are getting ready to head, well, they may already be there, already in Grambling, Louisiana for the 2024 SWAC tournament. And so without any ado, probably should be the SWAC Coach of the Year. Definitely, I don't know, have the awards come out yet, Marcus? Kelvin?
No, I think it comes out usually the day before the first game.
All right, so the first game is Friday, so probably tomorrow. So we're anticipating tomorrow that Coach Gokhan Yilmaz will be the 2024 SWAC Coach of the Year. So let's bring on Gokhan. Coach Gokhan Yilmaz. Coach, how you doing, sir? Good evening.
Hey, how's everybody?
How you doing,
Hey,
well.
Coach Gokhan? I like those shirts, Coach.
I've been hearing about this since 5 a.m. this morning. I came to work at 4:45 just to see people wearing these shirts. So I'm still trying to figure out what happened, who did it. We'll see. We'll see where it goes.
Beautifully,
not gonna make a run, are you, Coach?
Shirts.
Not going to make them run laps, are you? If you find out who it is.
Well, whoever did this is running laps for sure, to say the least. I don't know if any of you involved or not, but we'll eventually find out.
Nope,
Hey,
nothing to do with it.
Nothing to do with it, Coach. Although we are trying to figure out how we're selling. I mean, who's selling these shirts? That's what we're trying to figure out, Coach. So I'm not going to lie to you. How come these aren't being sold? We don't know. But, if we go ahead and finish this deal and win the title, Coach, you may have to just go ahead and suck it up, and we just may have to sell these shirts with some championship with a championship ring on the back of it or something.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw the video they posted as well this morning.
I saw it.
I was wearing a ball cap. Jamie Shoup gave me. He gave me one last year. I lost it. I never wear a cap, and then he was not happy about it, so he gifted me the second one that I have to keep, but I left it in my car so I don't lose it. But I keep getting the question about both the ball cap and then the shirts all day.
Okay. Coach, what an amazing season, regular season. Now, obviously, it's not over. And I think one of the things that we noticed early on in this season is that this team, especially in the non-conference, did a great job of winning those matches and those sets where maybe we kind of left some, we were kind of short the year before. What, as you've seen this team grow over the course of this season, what has really impressed you about their growth and maturation over the course of this season?
Well, we definitely won more matches than we did last year in preseason. That's why we're at 20 wins. I think we're at 24 right now compared to our overall total last year. There were still at least 3 of them that we thought we had a good shot at winning. We made some crucial mistakes in times that we normally do not make those mistakes. But finishing with 9 wins in preseason is really 8 wins in preseason is really a good number for us. And I think sometimes as the fan base, we don't understand how difficult it is to win these matches. There is a lot of quality mid-major programs around us. I mean, women's basketball is right now playing a good game against West Georgia. It's a team transitioning from Division II, but they have quality athletes as well. So it's the same thing that happens when you go to Jacksonville or when you go to North Florida. So those matches are never a given compared to us having some Power 5 wins in the last 3 years. But I'm happy with the way that the lineup continues to change, but we find production from different players. Unfortunately, our setter, who was on track to be the setter of the year in the conference, she was leading every category by a big margin, got hurt, tore her ACL against UNF about a month ago. So she's been out since then. But we have 2 other talented setters that played significant time. London did last year and this year as well as a senior. And Mackenzie, who is again the newcomer of the week this week, playing as a freshman. So they're doing a good job filling that void. But I'm very happy that different players show up and fill in the spots that we're struggling at times. And I'm confident it's going to be an advantage here in the conference tournament this weekend.
Okay, Coach, I wanted to ask, I noticed that you have, I think, from the last championship team in 22, that there are at least 3 players who are returning, who were the last ones to win the SWAC championship title. What are you expecting from them as it relates to leading a relatively new group of players who haven't been to the title? Well, I guess last year we did go to the title game. We haven't won a ring yet, expecting them to bring to the table.
Yeah, I think those 3 are Kalia Todd, Isis Williams, and Brooke Watts, which all 3 have been really valuable players for us, not only on the court, but from the leadership standpoint too. And they both were highly recruited kids coming out of high school. And in Brooke's case, she had over 500 kills as a freshman at Murray State in her first year. and she just reached 1,000 kills here at FAMU just a couple of weeks ago. So really talented players, but also individuals who are serious about their academics. While one is getting a doctorate degree in occupational therapy, the other one is a nursing student, and Brooke is going to go into grad school here after she graduates. But they're also very serious about, how we prepare not only for matches, but for practices, for lifting sessions, for sports psychology sessions. So I feel very lucky to have them on my team as the leaders when coaches are not in the room.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead, Kelvin.
Coach, talk about what you think going into this tournament. What's going to be the key? We've had a couple of 5-set matches with JSU, and we lost a couple of sets to a couple other teams. But it looked like a lot of those teams are on the other side of the bracket. But just kind of talk about how the tournament is set up for our team, and what it's going to take for us to bring home the rings.
Yeah, absolutely. Before I do that, congrats on your 34th birthday. Did you say 34?
18.
18. Okay, well, congratulations. So I guess all four of us in this panel are in our 30s, so that's good.
I'll
Really good
take
to
it.
know. Well, it's been a fun conference season, to say the least, going 16-0. And in my experience, 16-0s haven't won since we joined the conference. So this is the 4th year. So I only have knowledge for 4 years. That doesn't mean we're not going to win here this weekend. But conference tournament is a different beast. Everybody plays extra motivated, especially against the team that wins the regular season. So everyone will have that extra motivation. I believe we only lost 2 other sets besides Jackson State. First match was very difficult. They really did some things that forced us to make a lot of changes, try to find answers, and we were able to do that in set 5. Same thing here at home. They have quality players, very good coach who's been there a long time, was an assistant. So I expect them to be a really strong competition here again. And Bethune-Cookman did very well this year. We lost a set to them on the road. And I think the other one was Texas Southern at their place. While those two will play as the 4-5, we have Grambling first. Grambling is playing at home. Home team always has a unique advantage. So we are taking that match very seriously. And all my years here, we always take it set by set, not only match by match. So I think the important part will be the consistency, finding a consistent group that can play together. And also the mental game of it is not getting distracted with what happens, because the unique part this year, when you play very few sets like we did, and if you look at the set numbers that's played, I think Jackson State played 21, 22 more sets than we did, although they finished second, because our matches finished very quickly. And some of the sets were really lopsided, 25-11s, 25-10s. When you play those, your numbers, individual numbers, don't look all that good, So that plays into maybe people underestimating us a little bit. When they look at Brooke Watts, they don't see 500 kills. They see 350. But the reason is the 350 she hit, she was very dominant. It didn't need that additional time on the court for us to get the wins. And I'm hoping that's going to create the consistency again. But one thing I can say is we have a group that's motivated to win. We have a group that knows how bad it feels to be on the losing end from last year. And I can testify to that personally. That match still hurts me. It's almost a year. But every morning I wake up, I go to practice. That's the only thing in my mind, that what I can do different this year, that I'm not in the same spot. So I know we will have players that are really, really focused and sharp when the game time is here.
Coach, I'm interested also in what do you think in terms of how this team gel with returning players and then the new crop that came in, and what kind of value does your staff bring in, especially now that you've got a couple of extra young ladies a part of that staff who not too long ago led the squad to championships. So kind of talk about that angle.
Well, from the first couple of years I became the head coach here, my goal was to create a team that felt part of the university, that was proud to be Rattlers, that was proud to represent the university. I think that was lacking with the previous staff, although they had very good teams. It's my opinion that they were a little bit separated from the university. With that group that Isis Williams came in with, she's my first recruit here. That's the thing we try to create, that we take care of each other. You know, people will make mistakes. Sometimes we will not be happy with each other, but we're here to support one another and make sure that everybody leaves the university as a better individual than they arrive. I think that older group, did a great job with it. So welcoming and teaching those values to the younger players, to the transfers, has been exceptional. So I really appreciate all the older players being role models and being the forefront of that approach, because as coaches, we can only do so much.
That's right.
That tone has to be set by the leaders on the team as well. From the coaching standpoint, I always wanted to add more coaches, but I think I mentioned this before on the show that there was some hidden money somehow we were not finding in the budget that we were able to use this year. And my goal was always to bring former players that knows what it takes to win, that are passionate about the university, passionate about the program, and closer to the age of the players. And both Caitlin and Dominique are doing a great job with that. And even they have different personalities among the two of them. And I think that's helping quite a bit. That sometimes somebody says something, it might not come across in a way that it's intended. Now we have four different people saying the same stuff. I think it's resonating much better with our player group as well.
Okay.
Coach, I want to take a look at the bracket here, which I just had up a second ago. Let me see if I can figure out how to get it up. There we go. Okay, so as mentioned, and I know we like to focus on one match at a time and what's in front of us. And you were talking about Grambling, but I found it interesting when last year's bracket there were upsets. There were some upsets. Matter of fact, Jackson State ended up knocking off 1, 2, 3, 4. Outside of Grambling, and you talked about the challenges of Grambling. There's that potential match with our rival Bethune on the other side, but Jackson State on the whole other side. Where does this tournament lie in terms of the potential of upsets, and what kind of things are you guarding your team against? I know you're going to tell your team to focus on what's in front of them, but as you look at this field, how do you assess what you see? Will this be the kind of field that potentially could go chalk, or are there some potential upsets that people need to be on the lookout for throughout this tournament?
Yeah, last year, even in the first round, Texas Southern Prairie View match went to 5 sets, and those are the two rival schools. Texas Southern could have easily taken out Prairie View, and then in the semifinal, Prairie View could have taken us out. And you're right, Jackson beats undefeated Alabama State in the semifinal, and then comes out and beats us, after the first set pretty handily. And during the regular season, we beat them pretty handily last year. So again, this is a tournament where everybody understands all these 8 teams are 0-0, and somebody has to win 3 matches to win a championship. And it can be round 1 that you struggle a lot. If you look at our first championship, we struggled mightily against Prairie View, mightily. And then Pine Bluff ended up giving us a difficult match in 5 sets. And then Jackson State Final went to 5 sets. But then the following year, we swept everybody. I think one of the things we focused the entire year is the key in every tournament, which is serving and passing, which makes huge impact in the volleyball matches. We are the #1 serving team in our conference. We give up the fewest points in serve receive. So that shows we're strong in those categories. But if you look at the field, if we can go past Grambling, both Texas Southern and Bethune-Cookman are very good blocking teams. We are 1 and 2 with Bethune-Cookman in terms of blocks per set. So it will be a matter of how you create enough points to stay ahead when it gets to 20s and be able to continue with that lead. We do have a plan. We know the type of lineup we want to run. We have some plays that we're going to throw out there. We are prepared. We are prepared both from the tactical standpoint to mental standpoint. But always those 3 areas: how do you serve receive, and how does your blocking work against the offense the other team is running? And those are the 3 areas that we are much better than we were in the past.
Marcus, let me get one more question in here, Marcus, while we're talking about this.
Okay. I'm
curious, Coach, just from, I think it would seem to me hard to not compare approaches or compare teams going into the tournament. And so in kind of following up with what you just said about the team from, I guess it would have been 3 years ago, and their start versus 2 years ago, and even last year, how does this team compare to those 3 other teams in terms of their spirit, their togetherness, their focus and preparation? Is there a comparison to those 3 years that you see? I mean, and when you and Coach Steve, you guys kind of talk, you guys have seen all this, and even Dominique, who's been a part of it. Do you kind of maybe say, yeah, this group reminds me of how we were 3 years ago, or is this team just totally different?
I think it's very hard to compare teams because every team is a living entity, because the personalities are different. Even the same players are different people when they're 19 compared to when they're 21. Their life experiences are different. Their point of views are different. One thing I can say is we're way more experienced. And more, we are getting kids from the transfer portal that are coming to us to win a championship. They want to end their careers as champions and play in the NCAA tournament. And this is the time to do that. This morning, I was telling everybody that this is the funnest weekend of the entire season, that you go in, you have a chance to be a champion, you have a chance to put your name in the NCAA tournament. And it doesn't happen in any other weekend but this weekend during the year. And we are prepared. We started preparing for this in last January. Our spring season prepares us for this. We played in 4 spring tournaments. We played really high quality opponents. This was the best summer we had so far, with the number of players that are in town, having a consistent and knowledgeable strength and conditioning coach, working with the players. All of those play into it. But now it is being confident, knowing that you have enough weapons that you can score points. But comparing, I think we're more experienced. And I'm hoping, and I know that having the experience of losing the year before will motivate us even further, because we know how sour a match can go very quickly on you. And we will do our best to stay ahead in all these sets that we're facing this weekend.
Gotcha. Go ahead, Kelvin or Marcus.
Coach Gokhan, I wanted to ask, you have tremendous depth this year and experience. But also I know in some sports, maybe not in volleyball, that coaches tend to shorten their bench, if you will, when it comes to the postseason. how do you balance, if you do happen to have that approach, balance all the experience that you have with making sure that your best players are out there and don't get worn out over the course of the weekend?
Yeah, volleyball is one of those sports that coaches like a certain lineup. It's not like basketball that you do so many subs. And we have limitation of how many we can do. We are only allowed 15 per set. And we are playing with 2 setters. So that means every time we go back to rotation 1, that's where we start the match. We are out 4 subs. We're also using a DS for Ione Sanford. Brishana Brown comes in and does a great job for that. So that takes out 2 more. So we're sometimes a little bit limited with the numbers we can use. But having a quality group overall from top to bottom has been an advantage so far. In many teams, if you lose your number 1 setter to an ACL injury in the middle of the season, you're pretty much done for that year because it's very difficult to fill that position. It's one of the most skilled positions that you will see. That didn't happen to us. We were lucky to have talent that is ready to go and play. I think we're going to try to stay consistent with the lineup we play. But if we need to make a change, we have a lot of players that not only we have confidence in them, but they also have confidence in their abilities too, and they can come in and change a match for us.
Okay, thank you, Coach.
All right, Coach. Kelvin, you got it. Go ahead, close it out with us.
Yeah, Coach. I'm going to ask you to project a little bit, based on what ifs. What if we do go ahead and win the tournament, FAMU? And we're sitting at 20, I guess we'll be 27-6, 28-6 with some good, some solid out of conference wins. I looked at the volleyball rankings and who will be hosting, and it didn't seem like it was a lot of Southern schools that would be hosting, and I just I'm wondering, where do you think project is a likely place that we would be sent if we won?
Yeah, it is a little bit of a down year in our region. We were hoping Auburn would hold on to some of the earlier wins they had. They beat Florida State. They have a couple of good wins in the SEC, but they also had some bad losses, so they're not in a position to host. Same thing for Florida. I think they lost 3-4 in a row in the SEC, so they're not in a position to host. FSU is not in the top 4 in ACC, so they're not in top 16. It looks like some of the top 16 have ideal geographical matches for them to host round 1. We're looking to be the odd one out that's going to fly out. It can take us to Stanford. It can take us to Nebraska. It can take us to Creighton. Nebraska looks a little bit more probable if we end up winning, because there's only one other team as an automatic qualifier that can either go under Creighton or Nebraska. So it leaves the other one open. But you're again looking to draw a big name. We need to go maybe with 1 loss or something along those lines to have a better RPI to avoid that top 12 seeding. And we're not there yet. That's something that's going to be an uphill battle. But we're fighting it. I mean, we are improving our game. We're improving the size we have at the net, and it takes some time. But those 3 would be the projected ones from the way for me to look from outside. But you never know what the committee thinks. So we'll be happy wherever we go. We want to be in the NCAA tournament, and we want to continue improving our game and be a great choice for future players looking to come and win a championship here.
And I just want to validate, the conference tournament is single elimination or double elimination?
It is single elimination. Luckily, it used to be double. It would have been a nightmare to play so many matches in 3 days. I'm very happy it's single elimination.
And the NCAA tournament, is it still single
elimination as well?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Single elimination as well.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Well, there you see it, folks. The tournament begins Friday. They'll probably do the awards tomorrow. So you guys will probably do the awards banquet, I would imagine, Thursday, usually the SWAC does it the day before the tournament. So we'll get a chance to see how big of a sweep we take in the awards. I mean, I'm predicting my personal predictions. I think we take Coach of the Year. I think we take Player of the Year. We'll probably take Setter of the Year. Libero of the Year will be interesting to see whether we take that. Any other predictions, Coach, in the awards that you want to make?
It's difficult year to make a prediction for the reason I said, because our numbers doesn't look as good as the other people, and not because we don't have good players, because we didn't play as many sets as some of the other ones. There are kids in the teams that finished 3rd, 5th, 6th that have exceptional numbers. So if you are voting for these awards, and if you only look at the total number of kills or digs or assists, we don't match up with the other ones because our matches were finishing 3-0 compared to going to 5 sets. So I can see a lot of people not voting our way. And, there's also people that don't pay too much attention to volleyball from, sports information standpoint and things like that have a vote that is equal to my vote or any other coach's vote. So I can see this year being a down year for us for that reason. But the important thing here is we are playing the entire season to win a conference championship. I'd rather have the tournament MVP and several players in the all-tournament team when it's done than having several season awards but not win the championship, So I think our focus has to be in the right place, but also understand the numbers. This is sometimes just a numbers game where your numbers have to look out of this world. In the past, that's what our numbers looked. But this year, I'm looking and seeing is there a reason somebody else gets a vote in this category? There might be some of those for sure.
Yeah. Well, hopefully the SIDs and the fellow coaches, hopefully they know how to hit that average per set or average per match button and let that guide them. Because when you hit that, all of a sudden you see where we stand in comparison to others. And, I'll be biased. It does matter when you're unbeaten, so it just naturally is. But all right, well, Coach, we appreciate your time again. One more time for everybody, just in case you didn't see, they're the awesome shirts, Gokhan. Yes, indeed. So if I don't know, maybe there'll be somebody walking around the pavilion out there in Grambling selling the shirts. But if not, Coach, I think those are going to be a hot ticket item when you come back to Tallahassee. I'm just telling you now. So just be ready to see your face on the shirts of students all over campus when you get back.
Yeah, thank you. This is not my personality at all, so I'm trying to stay away from it as much as possible, but I got the question quite a bit. And let me go back to the first thing you mentioned. We are in Grambling right now. That's why my background is like this. We're in one of the older Hampton Inns in Ruston. That's where we're staying. So we usually come on the Wednesday. Since these travel days are too long, we get to practice a little bit tomorrow. I think it's at 11 o'clock. And then the awards banquet is at 6, and we play at 11 Central Time on Sunday and see how this goes.
All right. Well, we'll be tuned in. Folks, make sure you stay tuned and follow all of the updates that'll come out, I'm sure, via the social media platforms. FAMU Athletics, FAMU Volleyball. Make sure you're following on Instagram and on X. And we'll probably do some stuff on Facebook as well. So, Coach, you guys be well. And we look forward to watching the matches beginning Friday morning or midday on the Eastern, time zone. And, we just keep plugging away and do what we do and keep winning. So congratulations on the great regular season. And
congratulations. You are greatly appreciated, Coach.
Yes, definitely. We appreciate it. Thank you for all your time and all you do. And we'll continue to support and let people know everything we can about your program and the great young ladies that you have. All right, Coach.
And let me just say, you can watch the match live on SWAC Digital both Friday and Saturday. And then Sunday's match will be on ESPNU, which will be the championship game at 2:30.
Yes, and I did post that out as well. And so we'll keep reminding you guys all So for everybody who maybe you kind of jump in and out of the stream, yes, SWAC Digital Network, which is YouTube, is where you can watch. Always a great broadcast. You get a good broadcast. And then the championship match will be on Sunday. So get tuned in and to watch our Lady Rattlers handle business against Grambling. And then we'll see who we have in the following round. All right, Coach, say hello to the staff. Congratulate the girls, the ladies, and you guys be well. And we'll look forward to watching you guys. All right.
Thank you again, and hopefully women's basketball will end up with a win today. Men's basketball plays Friday at home, and Florida Classic. We're looking forward to celebrating that with the football team too. Looking forward to having a great weekend for not only us, for the entire athletic department.
Exactly.
Amen.
It's a great week to be a Rattler. Never forget that, people. No matter what the people on the outside say, they just wish they was. They not like us. They wish they were, though. Coach, be well. Take care now.
Thank you.
All right. There he is, the GOAT, Coach Gokhan. Awesome shirts.
I'm getting me one of them shirts. I don't care what he say.
and there's your championship winning team right there. An awesome group. Of course, Coach won his 100th match as the head coach of the Rattlers, a few weeks ago. So it's awesome. It's just been a great season for this team. We had, of course, over the weekend, Jackson State, the only team in the SWAC to push us to 5 sets.
Mm-hmm.
Twice. So fortunately, they're on the other side of the bracket. So they're the defending tournament champs. So we'll see what they have in store and whether they can make it through. Of course, then we finished up the season beating Valley on Sunday. Somebody beat Valley. So newcomer of the week, Mackenzie Taylor, with 39 assists. I know you see her joining some of the other ladies from the SWAC this past weekend and final weekend of competition in the SWAC. Love those shirts. One more time for the shirts.
Yeah.
Awesome shirts. Shirts. Yeah. So again, we got to figure out how we're selling. Somehow, some way. I noticed. Look at the photo to the left. I just really look at this closer when you zoom in. I don't know what coach was. I think that's the one that got him upset. If you're looking at this shirt, you're like, what in the heck? Oh, no, you didn't put that picture up there. So they said, I don't know, coach has got some kind of weird glasses on or whatever that is on the image to the left. But
that looked like the assistant coach, right?
No, I know. Why would they put
it looks like it from a distance.
Yeah.
Why would they put Coach Steve on his shirt?
Yeah, that's Coach Steve on the other side.
No, it's not. It can't be. No, that would be crazy. Why would you put the other pictures are all Coach Gokhan? So why would you put Coach Steve on there? I don't know. Maybe that's Coach Steve. That'd be funny if it were Coach Steve. Maybe it is. But anyway. All right, so we have to find out. We'll do some investigative reporting on that. Figure out who that person is there. Awesome job by Shweta Mystery. The graphics, I almost had one of these signs, undefeated in the SWAC 16-0. I almost got one of those and stuck it here over my shoulder because it's awesome, man. If you follow her on Instagram, she's a friend of the show, and she did a little storyboard and talked about how she went through the concept and everything that she put together in doing this photo shoot. But it's a really awesome job. You notice the newspaper, a lot of interesting visuals in the picture. So shout out to Shweta for putting this together. Awesome stuff.
Really artistic and creative. Yes.
So shout out for putting that together. All right. I think that was it. Was there anything else in that? Nope. Again, one more time to show everybody there's the tournament. I got a feeling we're gonna see Bethune in the second round, to be honest, guys. Bethune, even though Bethune is the 4 seed, that's interesting. I gotta go. What was there? Must have been a tie there between because I thought Bethune was going to be the 3 seed. Somehow they ended up as the 4 seed.
So I know Jackson State and one of the Texas schools, I believe, tied and with 3 losses. They were both was 13-3. I think it was Prairie View. Is Prairie View the 3 seed?
Yeah, Prairie View is the 3 seed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they were both tied at 13-3. And I guess through the SWAC tiebreaker, Jackson got the second seed.
And Bethune, actually, as I'm looking at the standings right now, Bethune lost their final game of the season. That's what happened.
To Jackson.
Was it to Jackson? Right. I'm looking here. Yep, they lost to Jackson in Daytona Beach, 3-1.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And so Prairie View has won 7 in a row. So outside of us, when I go and look at the standings right now, obviously we are the hot team. Well, in terms of just matches overall, we won 7 matches in a row. Of course, we had some non-conference matches in there, and that's the only reason that our streak is not more. But we've won 7 games in a row. Prairie View has won 7 games in a row. It's 7 matches in a row. So I can totally see. Look, I'm not going to. Hold on. Let me look at here. What did Jackson and Prairie View do during the year? Because before I open my mouth and people say, "Oh, you're hating on blah blah blah." Yeah. So
didn't they split?
Did they split? Let me see.
I know Jackson had 3 losses, so 2 of them does. So they lost to somebody else.
Let's see. Prairie View lost at Jackson State back in early October in 5 sets. And I think that is the only time that they played them. Yeah, so, according to the schedule, it's the only time they played. So
who was Alabama State?
Here, I'll tell you here in a second. Let's see. So 3 losses by Jackson State. Those 3 losses, obviously they lost to us twice. And then you said who the third one was? It was Alabama A&M. Actually, they lost to Alabama A&M in Huntsville in a 5-setter.
Okay.
So, and those were their only 5-set matches. So, Jackson State lost all of their. Well, no, they beat Prairie View. So Jackson State went 1-3 in 5-set matches, while we went. Obviously, we went 2-0. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to kind of see how this shakes out. So good stuff. All right. Well, let's go ahead and take a short break. Come back. We got Gerald Thomas, Tallahassee Democrat, coming up here in the top of hour 2.
He had a lot of articles. He done had a lot of articles since Saturday, buddy.
Oh, yeah. Been doing a lot of writing, man. Gerald probably had to do more writing over the last 72 hours than he had planned to following a Valley game. Jesus. He was like, he probably thought he was going to be able to slip out of town and get some stuff ready for his graduation and all that stuff. And then he got busy. So, we'll talk about what's going on with the Rattlers and following the Mississippi Valley loss and how they're getting ready and some staff changes and other stuff like that. A lot of stuff going on right now in Tallahassee. So we'll talk about it with Gerald right on the other side. Get your questions ready, folks. I know you got questions. Get them ready in the chats. I'll go ahead and star them. You're watching the ONG Strike Zone right here on the Black College Sports Network. We'll be back in just a moment.
If you think all pads are exactly the same, think again. This is Always Ultra Thins reinvented with the Always Triple Protection System. This pad wicks gushes 90% faster, absorbs even more so you can feel dry, and locks odors in. Rethink your pad for up to 100% leak-free and odor-free comfort with the totally reinvented Always Ultra Thins. This is always like never before.
The Cuvée Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, My colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cuvée.
Nope. Nope.
Come on, him?
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
This is Bryan Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show. All right, welcome back to the ONG Strike Zone. Bryan, Kelvin, Marcus coming up here in just a moment. GT3, Gerald Thomas III, soon to be a graduate of Florida A&M University. We'll talk to him about that. Got a text here from Road Dog, and Mike, I know, was in the chats earlier. Mike said that there are still tickets available for the Florida Classic in sections all over the stadium, close to the bands and the VIP Plaza Lounge seats with all-you-can-eat food and beverages. So if you are looking for tickets and you want to get into that VIP Plaza Lounge with the all-you-can-eat food and beverages, we know how some of you Rattlers like to roll. You know, go ahead and reach out to Mike via text or call 813-240-3116. Again, that's 813-240-3116. Mention Strike Zone. Let Mike know that you heard about these tickets and this great offer from the show, and you know, it goes a long way. Helps us out, and you know, we appreciate you supporting. So make sure to reach out to Mike, and we'll go from there. All right, fellas. Well, let's go ahead and bring in Gerald so we can get into talking about this game. Welcome on to the show. Welcome back again. None other than Tallahassee Democrats' own Gerald Thomas III, future FAMU graduate. Gerald, how you doing, man?
Hey, what's going on, y'all? It feel like it's been a minute. So I'm not sure if I've been on none this season, but happy to be back. Always an honor to come back, and man, I'm ready to get to it. Classic week. I'm hyped. I feel like I'm about to play.
Hey, we might need you. We might need you. You got any good plays? Got any plays there in the bag that you can call? You know, we need all the help and magic we can get. Who knows?
Yeah.
Well, Gerald, last time we talked, man, you know, Valley was still losing. We were winning in Bragg. You know, I think I've heard from enough people around the HBCU sporting diaspora that they were in shock seeing the score. As you're watching that game develop, and we can kind of go around the horn with this question, fellas. We'll start with Gerald. As you're watching that game develop and the final outcome, what was the hardest part to digest with what you saw on Saturday?
Yeah, well, I didn't get to watch the game. I was back at home with the family celebrating Mama's birthday, so I couldn't watch no football unless she was been grabbing me by the ear. But no, I mean, I was scoreboard watching though, and I saw the score. I said they about to do their little comeback thing or something like that. Do the little comeback thing and win and keep the streak going. And then I saw, as time was winding down, it looked like it was looking like an L. So the hardest thing to digest is, I think it goes for a lot of people. First off, it's not just losing the streak; it's losing the streak to Valley. That's no disrespect to Valley. It's a Division I football team, but it's a winless
In name only. In name only.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna be as kind as you.
But yeah, it was the fact of the matter of losing that way to a team that had no wins. If you're gonna lose the winning streak, I mean, it was gonna come a day in time where what I say, it would come a day in time where FAMU was gonna lose that brag. Yeah. But to lose in that fashion to a team like that, to me, I feel like it was inexcusable in my opinion.
Yeah, man.
You might want to go to Marcus first.
Yeah, we gotta say Kelvin for last. Well, I was kind of like Gerald. I was out and about. My wife and I had obligations till 12 noon, which actually
did everybody take the day off? I think
actually, I wanted
Kelvin.
I wanted to be home. I was trying to be home.
I sat there and soaked in and watched that fiasco live to the end.
God bless you.
Yeah, I was trying to get home, and then other things. I was like, so I was scoreboard watching on my phone, and I couldn't get the HBCU Go app to work, or at least it was showing some kind of documentary. I don't know what was going on there, but I was scoreboard watching. Then I finally went over to the app, the Rattler app, and I was like, "What is going on?" Because I saw it was 7-0, and then 7-7. I was like, okay. I mean, I knew that they were feisty. Valley, we talked about it before. Valley always plays us hard, and then it started getting late. Then it got like 14. And I didn't see any of the highlights, and I didn't get home till like the beginning of the fourth quarter. And so I'm sitting there looking at this, and it was 24-13. Then I was like, "Are you joking me? You cannot be." I mean, so I was kind of like in disbelief a little bit, but I was like, "Okay, something's gonna have to change." And I was sending text to you guys as well. And then we get the touchdown. I was like, okay, now this is, I don't know. It seemed like the touchdown came after, I want to say after Dad Franklin got shoved out of bounds or something like that. I was like, why did it take him getting thrown out of bounds and getting a personal foul for everything to get fired up? Because I hadn't seen any of the previous game. And then mistakes happened, but I kept hearing about everything, the same issues that plagued us all year that we ever persevered through, except for the Jackson State game, making turnovers and giving away turnovers and being -10 going into this game. And senseless penalties all came to fruition, and it came to bite us against arguably the worst team in the SWAC and arguably the worst team in Division F, in the FCS division. So there was no excuse for it. And, after all, I just watched the end of the game. Then I just started watching Batman Begins, just to kind of calm myself and disassociate, and just like turned off. Not because of, I don't talk smack or anything like that. So I wasn't really worried about any other SWAC teams talking smack to me on social media and all that stuff. But just from us, I was like, because you knew that the knives and the torches and the pitchforks were coming out.
Go ahead and tell them, Marcus. You hit mute on a couple groups.
Oh yeah, I hit mute on a couple groups.
You were like, I can't do it. I got to go mute.
Yeah, I was like, nah.
48-hour, 24-hour rule turned into 72-hour rule, huh?
Yeah. And I was sitting there like, well, I know there's gonna be some high ratings on all the shows this week.
Yeah,
because They're going to be watching what Colsey says and see what his reaction is.
Yeah, no lies, Tony. There was a profit to be made if you could have saw it. We were a 31-point favorite, which, first off, if anybody's watched this all year, I don't know how. The fact that anybody had us as a 31-point favorite really was not even paying attention to us, and really like just a complete disrespect to Valley. And any betting person, anyone who bets would have took the value on the dog side, 31 points.
Bryan, stop it. All right.
No, they would have.
Valley average giving up 40 points a game. They average.
Yeah, but we only scored 22
it
points
didn't matter.
a game,
It didn't matter. Whoever they played, they gave up 40. And
we don't score 40. We don't score 40, Kelvin. That's the point. We don't score 40. But anyway, go ahead with your point, Kelvin.
Yeah. But the point is, you weren't there again.
Oh, no one else was. Only you were the only one there. Anyway, go ahead with your point.
He was working.
I'm working. Thank you. We were all working or occupied. Thank you.
Hey, we done had 5 home games and you got 0 appearances.
Working.
Everybody getting some at right tonight.
He got a point, Brian. I ain't seen Brian all season though.
Man, wait a minute. Them earrings ain't cheap.
Wait a minute. You saw me in the first game of the year. Don't act like that. Stop it.
I know. I ain't. Man, I see you on Wednesdays. That's it. But
them earrings ain't cheap. He got to work.
Wow. Oh, Marcus, you too, huh? Okay, Marcus. Go ahead, Kelvin. Go ahead.
So it was really off. The whole day was off. There's, everybody gonna get it today, man. I wanted to bring out the belt, but I'm not gonna bring out the belt because honestly, man, I was so upset about the performance that I don't want to make fun of it. For me, it's pretty serious, right? Because that win streak at Brad, that was something that was pretty important to everybody, and that was something that we gave up. You look at the students. I got to call the students out, man. We might have had 50 students. That student session was completely empty, and I don't know what happened with that. The band in the stands. I mean, the whole second and third quarter, but particularly third quarter. I mean, we down. We need to be hyped, right? We need to be trying to get the crowd into it and boost the team. And they were doing fanfare sectionals, and they had split up the two, and they were battling each other. But they weren't really playing any music that would get the crowd hyped. It was just doing trombones against trombones and all that kind of thing, man. So the whole, it was late arriving crowd because it was an early game. It was just, it had all the elements for us not to perform well. And then, I know we're going to get into with GT some of the things that happened after this game. But you mentioned it, and I want to talk about some things that happened during the game. The fact of the matter is, I mean, as you pointed out, things that we've done bad all year, we did again and double down in this game. We had going into score first quarter, and we pitched the ball and have a fumble inside the red zone. Late in the game, we don't play as bad as we can play. Going in to score. Just coming out of a timeout, snap the ball over the quarterback head. Quarterback has the opportunity to just fall on the ball. But it appears that he's trying to pick the ball up and he don't really touch it, and Valley falls on it, and we never get the ball back. Then there was times where we had plays where we had got a first down, or we were getting off the field and dumb penalties, man, undisciplined penalties where we, I mentioned it on the show, on y'all show, Sports Wrap Sunday. You got in between the whistles, you got an opportunity to hit somebody and get all your frustration out legally. And then you want to wait till after the whistle and get into a back and forth with people, man. Football IQ was just bad. And then I don't know what was up with our first. I'm like, who came up with the first half game plan? Because once again, we were down early, right? We gave up 24 points in the first half, and they weren't fluke, right? They hit a 70-yard bomb. They drove the ball down the field. Those 24 points weren't fluke. Then we give up a big return on the kickoff, and we miss a field goal. I mean, man, I couldn't tell who was Valley. And when watching that first half, man, it was as bad as it could get, man. And there was no sense of urgency. There was no real fight. And the things that kept coming to mind, some things that I mentioned previously. Where's the leadership on the team? Where's that guy, that dog? Where's the General Hunts and other worlds? Or, those kind of guys that get the team together. Get them hyped up. Say, hey, man, let's go. We're gonna get through this and stuff. We kind of took it for a lot, like you say, for a while until the third quarter when Marcus pointed out when they did something dirty and it kind of seemed to wake us up. And then, hey, man, I promise I wasn't gonna sugarcoat nothing. This coaching, man, the special teams, it's bad. It's bad football. It's bad to watch, and it's hard to get excited and to give energy when you see that, right? We couldn't stop Valley. I mean, Valley drove the ball. It wasn't like short drives outside of the one return they had. It wasn't a short drive. They drove the field. As a matter of fact, I believe when we fumbled, when both fumbled, is one of the drives where they drove right back down. We couldn't keep them inside the 1 yard line. You remember Prairie the week before, same thing. And I think part of the continuity, part of the why we wanted continuity because we thought we would get the same schemes and we'll get something similar to last year. And honestly, neither the coordinator really running the same things that we ran last year. Our running game looked really good. We had guys, we were gashing them with the running game, but we really didn't try to stick with anything, which has been our philosophy. Look like all year. If we start doing something too well, we're gonna switch it up. And then last but not least, I just it was just a sad day, and a sad way to end not only the home streak, but you got to remember at that time we was one of the first teams to play in the SWAC Saturday. At that point, we still had something to play for because the Alabama State Jackson State game hadn't even started. So you would have thought they didn't need any extra motivation to come out and perform at a peak level. So I got to call the players out. It wasn't just coaching and everything else. I mean, guys, this is your opportunity to go out and display your talent. And, we've been fortunate enough over the last 4 or 5 years where a lot of our guys have, when they got an opportunity in the league, they've been able to produce. So, every time you have an opportunity to go out there and represent that orange and green, man, you supposed to be fired up and ready to go. And so it's been a confused. This season went from running back cozy, and I kind of like what my man Drew said. I won't repeat it at this time, but but the season at this point is this disappointing season. There's no way around it.
And I want to follow up on what Kelvin said. And I know I sent you guys something. I can't think of maybe one other team. I can't think of anything right now where there's been such a dysfunction and disconnection from a team winning a championship. I mean, everything from the offseason. It wasn't even a week and a half, 2 weeks when Coach Simmons left, or there were rumors swirling around that. We go through all the machinations of the coaching search. Then we get the coaching search. We have 50 players that are leaving. We never really truly got to celebrate it. There's so much upheaval and turnover. And then we go into the season. It just seemed like everything was, well, compared to what we thought coming out of the summer, the whole season was almost embodied by this game where everything seemed off. Like the early start of the game at 1 o'clock. It's almost like a West Coast team coming to play in the East Coast in the NFL. That's what it looked like on Saturday. Like they're just lethargic. The time wasn't right. It just didn't seem like there's a discontinuity, and it's kind of emblematic of everything within a week and a half after we won the Celebration Bowl. Everything was just off.
Hey, at the end of the day, we done played 3 out of the top 5 teams in HBCU football: South Carolina State, Jackson State, and Southern. The East, and we 2-1 in those games. And the one loss in that game, we led Jackson State for most of the game into the last 4 minutes. So it's not a talent issue here.
No.
And that's what makes it even more unacceptable, I think, for most of Rattler Nation. We had the talent to run it back. But a combination of all those things you mentioned, and just frankly, the players not stepping up as a whole in their leadership, and then the coaches, they just didn't do it.
Yeah. The team and I'll say from the offensive standpoint, and I know we had like massive turnover, 45, 50 plus players. But the talent on paper, I mean, in reality, it is. But on paper, this is not a 22-point per game team.
Yeah.
With a quarterback who's in his 5th or 6th year, all those receivers coming in, and we've seen them excel at different points in different games and coming through the tight ends and all those other things. In terms of talent, that's not there. And the only thing we don't have truly probably is our breakaway back. I mean, we've got some steady backs, but no one who won't get caught from behind. They can get caught from behind. But other than that, I mean, everything is there.
That point there that Steve mentioned, Gerald, from your article, turnovers and time and how those turnovers yield points. You mentioned the 2 turnovers,
red zone
points off turnover, just like in Jackson State, points off turnovers versus our inability to get turnovers. Like Valley scored 14 points off our 2 turnovers. I mean, Gerald, any what's your takeaway? I'm curious, Gerald, outside of the talking about the turnover thing, I'm curious about what your conversations were like during the week, coming from the Prairie View loss into this Valley game. And I mean, when you kind of look back on those conversations, is there anything you're able to go back and look at and say, you know, this it didn't feel right, or like going back and looking at the comments from so and so, or my conversation, something wasn't right, something was off?
Yeah, I'll say, coming out the Prairie View game, there was a lot of conversations about still being motivated, still having things to play for. Oh, we got the streak to play for. We got the Classic to play for, which is this week. So that it didn't seem like they felt like they had much to play for in that Valley game, in my opinion. Losing that game, like I said, that was it's no excuse to lose a game like that. No excuse at all. Especially, and like you said, I mean, I know a bunch of things would have had to happen for them to even have a chance at the SWAC, but I mean, you don't want to lose at home. You know, a lot of these guys, this could have been a whole nother class that went through a whole nother 4-year class that went through their time at FAMU, never losing that brag. And now that's going, I mean, they got another opportunity, I guess, to start another streak, I guess. But, you know, I left practice before they left the Prairie View thinking, oh, okay, these guys know that the Prairie View loss comes with context. They lost because the best quarterback in the SWAC was injured. You have the best quarterback in the SWAC against Valley, and it just seems like nothing was there. And just the people that I talked to at the game, who were at the game, they just said the energy isn't good. Like they said, Valley, Valley Valley just lost a teammate, so of course they're going to play. They're going to have a spirited performance, and they're going to be lively. They want to win that game. And they said on FAMU side, it's just, it's like nothing. It's quiet. And, I know people don't really play up for Valley games and things like that just because, it's Valley. Usually they're not doing as well. But, FAMU got to play up every game just based off of how this season has gone. They got to play up every game just to avoid things like that. And like y'all said, everything that the team has failed at thus far, it came back to bite them in this Valley game. And, it sucks that it's Valley, but, that shows any given Saturday, man, anybody can get beat. To me, and I've said this to many people, I feel like the Classic this weekend is a toss-up, in my opinion. I feel like the Classic can go any way. I feel like FAMU will win, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Bethune come out and get a W neither.
Obviously, coming out of the game, it's the second time I've heard Coach Cozy in his post game talk about his. I'm going to say it read to me disappointment in the play call. I think against Prairie View, he mentions or alluded something to the fact of with going to junior, he wished that they had ran the ball more, or that maybe we didn't put the ball in the air so much with junior. This game, he also seemed to sort of imply some things regarding decision making or the style of the game.
Yeah.
Then we go from that to, I think it was Tuesday that he makes the announcement that Henry Burris is going to be calling plays as the new as the OC. So going from quarterback coach to OC. And curiously, he mentioned something to the fact that not much is going to change, which I'm gonna give. I heard Scotty say this, and I'm gonna give Scotty a little props when he called this out. It's kind of head scratching to me, but okay, what do you take away in the change in the play caller? Because I know that's a sore spot. I mean, I think there's this great debate of, is it the talent or is it the play call? Kelvin has, he's been very adamant that we have the talent.
Yep, the talent. Yep.
And I think it's a great debate. I mean, really, I think Rattler Nation is probably 55-45. Is it talent versus the coaching? What's your thoughts on all this, Gerald? And what's your take on the change to Henry Burris now being the OC?
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's definitely not the talent. To see like I just saw somebody comment. They say FAMU should be putting up 30 to 35 points a game because they should. You got almost like Daniel Richardson. He came to FAMU and immediately shot the stardom in that first game against Norfolk State. How he led them, to the comeback victory and won the MEAC SWAC Challenge most valuable player. But the fact that FAMU hasn't even eclipsed 30 points except for the homecoming game, it's a head scratcher. And yeah, play calling does come into effect with that. And a lot of those drives stall out, turnovers. It's always something. It's always something that keeps the drive going. But I feel like with Coach Burris coming in and calling the plays, Coach Cozy, he said, we're not changing coordinators, we're changing play callers. So y'all do what y'all want with that information. That's what he said. He said that at the 220 Club today too. So just putting that out there. But with him coming out, I feel like it adds a new dynamic with Henry Burris. He's a great He's a CFL legend quarterback, and quarterback coaches may be best suited for being the offensive coordinator, especially quarterback coaches that actually played the position, like how Willie Simmons played the position. He knows what Musa sees out there. He knows what Rashawn McKay sees out there. He knows what Ryan Stanley sees out there. And now Henry Burris, I think it helps a little bit that Burris and Richardson came in together. So these guys have been working together from day one. So Burris knows what if Darren Richardson is coming off the sideline and saying, "Coach, this is what's happening." Maybe that helps him, dictate the offense a little bit moving forward. So that's what I like the move. I love Coach Joe Henry. You know what I'm saying? I hate to see him, demoted or off the coaches or whatever the situation is. But I think Henry Burris, I'm excited to see how he's going to dial up the offense, especially with the bright lights of the Classic. Like I'm talking to him today, and he's like he's excited. He's excited for the opportunity, and he thanked Coach Joe Henry, for teaching him the offense again. So I'm excited to see. I think Coach Cozy holding out on us a little bit. I think it's going to be some changes. I don't know what the changes going to be, but I think it's going to be a little bit of changes this weekend, and I'm excited to see what they're going to end up being.
Hey, Gerald, I have a couple of questions for you.
Yeah.
For Coach Burris, this season, was he up in the box or was he on the sideline when he was as QB coach? And I guess he was listed as co-op. I just don't know. I'm just wondering if he had a different perspective. And I know there's all this other controversy around that, whether somebody should be up in the box or not.
I'm trying to think if he was on the box or the sideline, because I know the people who I saw going to the box, all think it was Casey Warman, Wyndham. Trying to think if Burris is. I feel like I don't remember seeing Burris in that bunch, but I could have just missed him. And I mean, yeah.
Typically, I've seen him on the sideline.
Yeah, I think I've seen him on the sideline. Yeah, I don't think he's part of that bunch that goes up to the box.
And I guess the second part of that question that kind of ties in.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Marcus.
Go ahead.
The second part of that question. I don't know if we heard any word or anything, but when we were trying to mount the comeback and Gassett had that punt return, and then it looked like, he got injured. And I don't know. Well, I'm just thinking, I was looking at the roster earlier this week, right after the game, or Sunday or Monday. And like some of our top receivers are out or hobbled. Like Gassett's hobbled. He was hobbled. Looked like he got initially hobbled at homecoming and kind of tried to work his way back at the Prairie View game, but it clearly didn't look 100%. And then he ran the punt back. He got the touchdown to get us 21-24. But on the punt return on the ensuing drive, you can see I don't know. I've had an injury like that, and the way it looked, it didn't look really good. So I don't know what his status happens to be. Ace Cobb is out with a wrist injury. I think it was the other gentleman. Kalani Norris, the transfer from Georgia Tech and Middle Tennessee State, he's out because I think he tweaked the knee against Prairie View.
Yeah.
And so that's like 3. And Jalen
Ward sitting out.
Jalen Ward is sitting out. So that's like 4 receivers out of, I want to say, a core of 8 or 9 wide receivers. So what's it going to be looking like going into Saturday's game, depending on Gassett's status, which we don't know right now?
Yeah, I'm trying to. Because I think I was looking for him at practice this morning. I don't remember seeing him unless I missed him. But I mean, Coach always said if you can practice by Thursday, then it's possible that you can play. So I mean, if Gassett ain't playing, a lot of Quan Lee. I've enjoyed seeing what Quan Lee has done this year. Because last year he came in and sat behind the Gassetts, the K-Dots, the Marcus Rileys, and didn't really get that many opportunities to play last year. But he's been a guy that's been a constant. Goldie Lawrence also, Goldie Lawrence from Florida State. Pruitt. Pruitt. Oh yeah. I've been saying. I said I got a feeling we about to see a lot of Jeremiah Pruitt this weekend. I just got a feeling. I got a feeling there's going to be a lot of Jeremiah Pruitt. I'm excited to see him because he's part of that 2021 class that came in. They trying to go for a sweep. They trying to go for never losing to Bethune. So I think we're gonna see a lot of Jeremiah Pruitt. Like I'm excited to see what Bird's about to do with this offense. I am because I think like I said, I think Coach holding out on us a little bit. I think there's gonna be some changes this weekend.
Now, how much? And sorry to jump in, Brian. Given the week, and given we're already 10 games in, how much can you change?
Yeah, that's something that Burris also alluded to. He said, at 10 games into the season, you kind of are who you are. He told me that today. So, he said you can't get too tricky. But I think, I mean, you got to experiment at some point. I mean, at this point of the season, you ain't got nothing to lose. I mean, you got the Classic to lose, but you got nothing to lose. So I mean, you got to get to it. And I mean, these guys that I'm mentioning, the guys like Quan Lee and Goldie Lawrence, these are guys that I believe are coming back next year. Barring that they want to stay on the roster. So you got to kind of see how those guys respond to different situations. So I think there'll be I can't pinpoint what the changes will be, but I think that it'll be something a little different, especially with Burris being a quarterback and Dan Richardson being a quarterback and kind of having that little connection there.
Okay, thank you.
Can I point out that the last 3 weeks, like against Valley, we ran 172 yards on 24 carries. Against Prairie View, 140 on 25. Texas Southern, 236 on 36 carries. The last, granted, we only scored 2 touchdowns in those 3 weeks, but this is all, and even out of the Southern game, 126 and the last 4 games, we've been running the ball really well. And I don't want to beat that horse because, I know everybody says, oh man, we got to pass the ball to set the run. I'm just pointing out.
Tote the rock. That's what I say. I say tote the rock. I mean, that was something that I asked them about when they started, running the ball well, because I believe the Southern game was the first time they outrushed an opponent this season. Mm-hmm. And I asked them, I can't remember if it was going into the homecoming game or after the homecoming game, but I was like, what y'all been doing lately? And I believe Kelvin Dean said we're going against the starting defense more. You kind of, you get so used to the scout team, and the scout team are the guys that don't start. So, I think that's something that's been helping them out, going against the guys like Eric Horn and Nayron Jenkins and the James Ashes and all of that type of stuff. That's helped them out too a little bit, because I mean, they ran against Southern where they had 136 something like that. Southern usually have a pretty good defense. So so I say take advantage. If you can run the ball, July how Norfolk kept running the ball in that first game. Hand off until they start working.
Mm-hmm.
I got a question here out of the chats. Tony's asking, and anybody feel free to jump in. Can we hold Bethune under 24 points? Can our defense hold Bethune under 24? I got to look and see what their average is right now, or at least over the last couple weeks.
They're really bad. They're really bad offensively.
Yeah, I think they can hold them under 24.
They scored 14 last week against Texas Southern. Yeah. Lost 17-14. And even the few times that they've scored in the 20s is because they had kick returns for touchdowns. Like I remember one game that Central Michigan or somebody Eastern Michigan, whoever they played up there, they had two kicks returned for a touchdown. So do not kick the D's. That's the one thing I will say. Special teams coach, kick it out of bounds. Let them start at 35.
Does anybody seem to be listening? How many times have we pointed out, hey, don't kick to that guy? And it's still
number 7,
to that guy.
Troy.
I don't know who's listening.
Oh yeah,
the guy in Troy. I'm like, why are we kicking to this dude?
Somebody's kicking to him, Kelvin. I'm telling you now, be ready to be disappointed. And when it happens, I'm just gonna look at you like, I told you ain't nobody listening. I don't know what's going on in that special teams meeting room, but
I give one pass to special teams. I enjoyed the back and forth with the for homecoming with the kick returns. I did enjoy that. Texas Southern chicken out because they were supposed to kick it back to FAMU to let it keep going, but It was fun. It was fun while it lasted. That was the most exciting 12 seconds of football in the season.
Hey, the problem is right here. Corinthian brings up a great point. Our kicker can't kick it in the end zone. That might be our biggest problem that we really.
Well, I mean, I started kicker, since game 4. It's been gone since the Miami game. He's been gone.
Yeah.
So the one who kicks it out. So we know that. So kick it out of bounds.
Yeah.
Or squib kick it, or put it high midfield.
We
kick it high to the 30.
Hey, we don't want people to return it.
Well, but I'm saying,
No.
If kick it out of bounds, it goes to the 35. That's all I'm saying.
So?
Good point. All right, I got any other talking points regarding, because the next question that I had here, it really is more so towards the future. And I know we have 2 games left, but we're already starting to see this question. Well, before I go into that question, anybody have any more questions, even for Gerald, regarding this game coming up or what we just came out of? Because I think the next question really has to do with the future and what's floating around in the college landscape this time of the season. No. Okay.
Yeah, there's nothing to discuss about Valley. I mean, put that one in the grave.
Okay, I can do this on this show. I've done it quietly in person and to people. And I'm going to just throw this out there. So I know Kelvin will, at some point, might tell me I'm crazy, because that's what he likes to do when I come with a strong point. But did you get the sense when you watched the post-game presser from Colsey that you could see that he knew he had let down Rattler Nation? I mean, this whole thing coming into this year was all about, as you said, running back Colsey. We got the streak. We done this. We done that. Really, it's him coming in on the heels of the Willie Simmons era. And I've held this belief for a while that it's harder coming in, taking over for a legend, or keeping the ball rolling from a championship program than it is building. Mm-hmm. Like when Willie Simmons came in, yes, we were a storied program, but we were in the depths. Yep. And he was coming in to build it up. So it's hard for, I know people like to compare first years, but Colsey's first year, completely different than Willie Simmons' first year. I got a sense as I watched James Colsey in that presser, and I don't think he'll really admit it in certain spaces, but I think there was a sense of relief that, and I say that with, contextualization, that there was a bit of relief that this streak is no longer hanging over my head. It's nothing that, I don't think I'm not saying that he wanted to lose,
right?
But as a new coach.
So what are you trying to say then?
Well, I'm saying as a new coach trying to come in, establish his own way, that sometimes now you get a chance to really start a brand new. You get a chance to kind of build.
That's what now. Hey, Bryan, I got you. I got you. But
let me finish.
But he wasn't hired to start brand new.
I understand that, but I'm just saying though, as a coach, there is probably a small sense of
no, Bryan,
relief and release. So you disagree? I get it.
He's a competitor.
Marcus, Gerald,
no.
Do you get a similar sense of that? There might be a sense of relief that now I can move forward and rebuild this program, or I don't have to worry about the weight of that.
I don't. Okay, yeah, I'm leaning towards Kelvin just because. Okay. I mean, he reiterated. I mean, he was hot. I mean, I guess as politically correct as he could be in the press conference, he appeared to be extremely bothered, disappointed in the result and the fact that the streak ended. Now, in terms of flipping the team and turning over, when you said a rebuild job, I guess there's almost. Coach Simmons came at a time we were at our lowest as a program. and rebuilt the team, and it built it over time, over the 4 or 5 years, and you can see the progression. What Coach Colsey, he was hired as the coach, but anyone else would have been walking into would be a championship team, but knowing that the team was going to be different because you had so many graduations and eventually players that jumped in the portal, that it was like a mini rebuild that had to be done on the fly, getting ready for the next season, as opposed to building the program up. So there's some degree of a similarity there in terms of having to fill positions and trying to find talent that would fill the positions with the extra pressure of coming off a championship and the expectations, which is the difference between Coach Simmons starting and Coach Colsey coming into it. So that I don't necessarily agree that he felt relief in losing the game. And with the turnover, the way the portal is now, which probably wasn't in as high gears when Coach Simmons came in. I mean, you could mold the team in your you can mold the team in your fashion, in the off season. In the off season, as quickly, a lot quicker than you could when you had to go through the recruiting route.
Bryan, man, they fire you up in the comments.
That's all right. Look, I know it's a controversial take. I know it is. That's fine. Maybe I didn't explain it well, and that's okay.
Yeah,
that's okay. I'm okay with that.
You lost me on that one, Bryan.
I guess I was trying to talk about it from the standpoint of following a legend and following the pressure that comes. I'm not saying that Colsey wanted to lose. I'm not saying that Colsey's a loser. I'm just saying that, man, whatever. Y'all don't, whatever. I'm done.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it was I think he truly wanted the streak to go. Like I said, eventually the streak is going to come to an end. Sure. I thought the streak was over when South Carolina State came in and it was 18-7. That game was feeling like an L. That game was feeling like an L. So I wouldn't say it's a sign of being around Colsey after losses, Colsey does not like losing. Like even when they played against Troy, he was upset about that L. You know what I mean? So we all know he had big shoes. We all know he had big shoes to fill. Coming in and taking the job. But also with me personally, I try to be careful with projecting past success on a brand new coach, because regardless, it's going to take time. To get FAMU back there, because they returned a lot of talent. They returned the Kendall Bowlers and the Kelvin Deans and brought in a very good quarterback. But it's going to take time to give us a celebration bowl. I think now that people got that little taste of the Celebration Bowl and the SWAC championship, it's an expectation every year, which isn't bad. But I don't think it's a plug and play. Now I did have FAMU winning more than what they can win 7-5. I had them going either 10-2 and 8-4 at the latest. So I ain't gonna lie, they not made me out to be a little liar, so I already like that.
I set the line at 8.5. Look, at the preseason, I set the line at 8.5. So obviously we're not gonna hit over 8.5, which I think we all thought they would hit.
I said Jackson was an L. People called me crazy. I said Jackson was an L preseason. People called me.
That was my one. I was 9-3, and that was my prediction too.
Yeah, so
I think we were the same.
I'm very interested to see how next season goes. Because I know it's gonna be some coaching changes. You know what I mean? It's gonna be some. So I'm excited to see how next season go.
I'm excited to see how we finish.
Yeah.
They said, the saying, pressure either bursts pipes or it creates stones, right? In the case of diamonds. So I want to see in these next 2 games what kind of character our team has, frankly.
Yeah.
For me, these last 2 games ain't about the coaches, it's about the players.
All
right. Yeah, go ahead.
That just reminded me, I interviewed Jeremiah Pruitt yesterday. Story dropping soon. I interviewed Jeremiah Pruitt yesterday, and he basically, even though he won't be here next year, he spoke with foresight. He basically said, because these players feel like they've let people down too. And he said winning a classic will be important because it is show that we haven't completely let down Rattler Nation, because that's who.
Amen.
That's what we do. That's what we do it for at the end of the day. So it meant a lot to hear him say it, being a guy that won't even be playing here next year. So he wants to finish strong, yes, because he's a senior, but also because he wants to see the betterment of the program moving forward, even if he had to sacrifice winning another SWAC championship and Celebration Bowl. He wants to see FAMU rise back up to the top too. So that's something that stuck out to me too. And y'all will see the whole quote when the story dropped one of these days.
Oh, don't hold on to it for too long now, Gerald. All right. So my question that before I ventured down that road and got killed by everybody in the chat. That's okay though. See, I sacrificed myself for the sake of the show. Jimmy Mack asked, one of the trends that I was talking about was seeing people in the portal. We're starting to see it all over college football at this point in the year. People are jumping in. We've even seen the report of a FAMU wide receiver make mention, I believe, of jumping into the portal. So Jimmy Mack's question asking you, Gerald, do you think we'll see a number of players going into the portal at the end of the season?
Every year.
Yeah.
Okay. Every year. That's every year. That's even when Simmons was here. You had Isaiah Lang went in the portal at one point. The following year, Kamari Stevens went in the portal.
Yeah.
This past off season, before Cozy's first season, you had Allen Smith in the portal. You had guys in the portal. You know what I mean? So that's every year. So I definitely expect some guys to enter the portal. Whether they leave or not, that remains to be seen. But definitely, that's every year. Guys are going to see what's out there. For their career and see if they can move up to FBS. And I mean, that's just the reality of it. I mean, it's a former FAMU linebacker that's in the portal right now from his new school. So,
I saw that, and the question I posed, to Marcus and Kelvin when I saw that particular former FAMU linebacker jump in the portal was, I wonder if those guys, there were 4 starters, we all know who they are, that jumped in the portal on the defensive side of the ball. Mm-hmm. And I mean, those 4, had they stayed, they would have been preseason all SWAC. Who knows what kind of season they would have this year? Who knows what kind of defense we would have if they were still here?
Yeah.
I wonder, I hate to do the whole regret thing, but I wonder, man, will seeing that those guys really didn't make it splashy, they didn't have any splashy games or outcomes at the new schools.
Splashy?
Well,
they didn't play.
They didn't touch the pool. Okay, they told him they told touch the water.
Now Anthony Dunn, because I pulled up the stats right before the thing. Now Anthony Dunn has the best stats out of anybody. So he's got 10 games appearances, 11 solo tackles, 9 assists, 20 total, and 4 sacks for 40 yards, which would probably pale in comparison to what he would have had if he would have stayed. But everyone else, I think General Hunt.
Yeah, he only plays like what, 20%, 25% of the, if that.
Mm-hmm. And there was an article on him earlier this week. I think I sent you guys that talked about his progression. But everyone else, I think General Hunt's been hurt. I think Chaney maybe had 2 tackles. I'm not sure, maybe on 1 appearance. And Sharif Say has 2 appearances and maybe 4 tackles. So we're talking 3 defensive linemen and a linebacker. So we're basically talking about the stoutness of our front 7, with returning players who would have been seniors or a redshirt junior in the case of Anthony Dunn, and players who had postseason accolades coming out last year. So it made a big difference.
I think it's really important, Bryan, since we're here talking about the transfer portal again. that we, I think it's important to be honest to the players. So all that needs to happen, those guys need to look at what happened to the guys before them. Mm-hmm. If you look at all those guys, Kamara, even going back to Kamara Stevens, it hadn't panned out. And here's a truth. If you're moving up from FCS to FBS and you're not a quarterback who put up elite numbers, you are a rotational piece. You're depth. As somebody said, you're a crash test dummy. Especially if you jump in a portal and you don't get to that program until after spring. Mm-hmm. Because they already got their players. They done went through a spring. They know those guys. It ain't even about talent at that point, right? So if you're in a position where you all preseason, all conference, where you at? I understand wanting to test the waters and look at a few dollars in terms of NIL, but if you love the game and you love playing and you love where you at, stay where you at and be a big fish in a small pond instead of being a small fish in a big ocean.
Well,
and it bears out because first of all, you ain't guaranteed to make the team. But even if you make the team, you're not going to be a contributor. Second of all, the reality is a lot of people who jump in the portal don't ever get out that portal. You've been in the portal 2-3 years. It's only 51%, I think, or somewhere around there, of kids who get in the portal who get picked up. So unless you got a guaranteed place where you going, man, stop fishing. Especially if you're happy. That's my thing. If you ain't happy, you don't like where you at, you ain't getting opportunity. I get it. But if you actually happy and you have success where you at, man, I'm just telling you guys, and that's a life lesson. This for me, this is bigger than football. Don't go chasing dollars, man, because dollars don't bring you happiness.
Hey, and that part right there by Hollow. Of the guys who are in the league from FAM, those are guys who are 4 to 5 years at FAM. Xavier, Marquise, Terrell. Those are guys who may have thought about. Well, we know Isaiah Land may have, he tested the waters, thought about it, ended up staying, and it worked out. So I guess that was just my bigger point about it'll be interesting to see will the mad rush to jump in the portal change? And now that we do have NIL collectives, we have Fang Exchange. Now that we have Fang Exchange, shout out Fang Exchange. Will that begin to deter guys after seeing what guys who left that were starters, so all SWAC players who departed, they be all SWAC players again this year. Mm-hmm. Looking at the league, they be all SWAC again. And what would that look like on your resume? That would get you into maybe one of those HBCU legacy combines. It might get you in front of somebody. You know what I'm saying? And it's an interesting case study to see what will happen here over the next year or two. So, I don't know. Just a thought there. All right. Well, Gerald, did we leave anything out that you had any other meat on the bone that you want to share with us? Any other big tips or stories or anything coming out? Anything else you're breaking news on?
No, it's kind of slow right now. It's been a very busy week. Just all that's been going on. Came back and jumped straight into the fire. So yeah, interested to see how this classic gonna go. They gotta win this thing, man. They gotta win. Must win. It's a must win every year, but like this year, like it's different. It's on a different level.
It means a lot.
I talked to Coach Burris because this is about to be his first classic. He's from Oklahoma. So he's never been to a classic, of course, a Florida classic. Never been to a Florida classic. And he asked me, he was mentioning, he said, man, I don't know. I think the record this year, it might hurt the attendance or anything. I said, oh, no. people gonna show up. They don't care what. They don't care 5-5, 0-10. They don't care. So it's time. It's time for him to be in the bright lights and put some plays in motion. Because I mean, it don't matter what the records are. People gonna show up to the Classic, regardless. So these guys, they got to win because you win this, man. You going to that Alabama A&M game feeling good, and that'll be a lot of those guys. Last hurrah. It won't be nobody that's on the team next year that was on that FCS playoff team, the FCS snub playoff team, and the Celebration Bowl team. It won't be no more of those guys after this year. So
Wow.
those guys, they blood, sweat, and tears. They put a lot into the program. They accomplished a lot with the program. They went through all the highs, went through a coaching change, and went through a little bit of the lows this year too. So you want to be able to send those guys out right. Those guys, they want to sweep Bethune. They want to sweep Bethune this week. So they got to win that game. It'll quiet down a little bit of the talk, a little bit about, the team, the season being a failure, because it's like, okay, yeah, we finished 7-5, but we won the big one. This is their bowl game. Dan Richardson, I told him that. He said, this is our bowl game. He said, season didn't go as planned, go as we wanted, but this is our bowl game right here. This is FAMU Celebration Bowl right here. This is FAMU SWAC Championship. So they got to go out there and they got to get that victory, man. Can't be no more performances like it was against Valley. I give them a pass for Prairie View just because of circumstances, but the Valley, that team cannot come out this Saturday because they'll find themselves in a game that's closer than what it should be, or find themselves on the losing end. So I'm excited for them. I'm ready for the game.
All right, Gerald, and before you get out of here, man, I want you to talk about your plans in terms of getting ready for graduation, man. You got a big hallmark coming up where you getting ready to get your master's and everything. Kind of talk about that, man, and how's everything going?
Yeah, man, the countdown is on, man. It feels like the days are getting longer, the closer it gets. But I'm excited for it. I'm excited for it. Took my graduation pictures last week. And ready to walk across stage. I just was texting back and forth with my family, trying to get everything sorted out for them coming down because they plan on coming down. Because I mean, when I graduated undergrad, it was COVID. It was the beginning of COVID. I graduated undergrad spring 2020, so we was basically shut down when that happened. So this is kind of like this is like the real graduation right here that I get right here. So we going all out and I'm excited for it, man. It's been a long time coming. I never thought I would go back to school, but I went back and now the countdown is on. I'm about to finish it, and yeah, I'm hyped for it.
Congratulations, man! Congratulations.
Congratulations.
I mean, that's big time, big time.
Now, to follow up on Kelvin's question, I have a double question: one for the team and one for you.
Yeah.
So, last 2 or 3 TDO FAMU beat reporters, when they hit that 3-year mark, they move on. I've noticed that. So, do you know, or do you predict that you'll be reporting on the sidelines at Bragg Memorial Stadium next year?
I could be. Well, also I could not be. You know what I mean? It just depends on how the chips are falling, and I love to cover. I really enjoyed covering FAMU. I really have. Just over these past 3 football seasons. So I mean, I guess I don't know. You know what I mean? If I don't know, nobody else knows. So just gotta wait and see how things play out and just keep it going from there. But I guarantee you, if a move was to be made, I'll make sure I contact y'all and say I got some breaking news for y'all. We'll break it right here on the ONG StrikeZone.
All right, I have to hold you to that. Now, the second thing, the follow up on I guess Kelvin's point.
Yeah, I thought Gerald was gonna say only God knows. I'm gonna leave it in God's hands. I wouldn't be mad at him.
Hey, that's what I heard. He in the transfer portal. Go ahead, Mark.
The team question is, from your perspective, and Kelvin alluded to it, and someone in the chat, I forgot who, talking about, and actually Bryan, that after this year, all the players who helped build the program will be gone. Do you think one of the Achilles heels of the team this year is because a lot of the players that came in, especially key positions, weren't here when it was being built up and may not have that same level of investment or that understanding of, I guess, like the kids like to say, getting it out the mud? Because coming off of Alex Wood from 2017, that and then Coach Simmons building everything up, and you see the progression, but then coming into a situation off a championship, and you have a massive, almost half the roster turnover that had no affiliation with the program or what it took to build up to that championship. How much of an impact do you think that had on our season or the performance this season?
I feel like that to me, honestly, this season, and I was talking about this the other day too. I feel like the team. I haven't seen the team like on the field. I'm saying on the field, just on the field. The team hasn't had like a cohesive performance this year, in my opinion. I've yet to see one of those. So I think, yeah. So I mean, I think that kind of plays a role in it when you got guys that have been here to see FAMU make the NCAA playoffs, get snubbed out of the playoffs, and then win the Celebration Bowl. And then you got guys that's coming in, still learning the culture, and there's nothing wrong with that, guys not necessarily knowing the culture just yet. Right. But that's all to me, that's up to the leaders in the locker room, and that's up to coaching. So one thing that I noticed that Cozy has been talking about this week, he said he's been having, rattlers, new and old come out and talk to the team about how important the Florida Classic is. So, just kind of instilling what it means to be a FAMU Rattler. That's going to be important moving forward, and I think it's kind of going to be next year going to be interesting. It's kind of going to be a little clean slate next year, in my opinion. So a lot of guys going to be gone, and you got to get another quarterback again. So next year,
do we though? I mean, besides QB, besides that guy who's holding on to QB2, there's some decent looking quarterbacks there. Number 3, 4, maybe 5. I don't know.
You think they're not gonna go in the portal? You think?
Oh no, they're going in the portal. You always go in the portal. Yeah,
you think they're gonna jump? You think a 3 is gonna jump to 1 that easy? They definitely going in that portal to get a quarterback.
Yeah, I think you naturally should. You definitely got to go into the portal because it would be foolish not to.
Yeah.
But I also think there are guys who might be worth,
worth a look,
give an opportunity to more so than 7.
Well, all that going to depend on what happens with the offensive coordinator.
That's true.
Position too, so that to be determined on that.
I feel like if Burris go out there and fire them defenses up, he the offensive coordinator next year. Easy.
Well, remember, there was a quarterback, and I think it was the last quarterback that came in that was a quarterback that Burris / Colsey wanted to bring in.
Mm-hmm.
I do remember, if we go back to think when our early conversations with Colsey, he did mention that. And I don't know if that's the young man who was the transfer from Miami or not. Whichever one was the last quarterback to transfer in.
I think he was the last one. Yeah.
That was the one that I remember Colsey and Burris, or I kind of got the implication that they held a spot open to bring in somebody that they were, or maybe Burris already was comfortable with or knew to come in. Yeah, and I see Ezekiel's talking about Jordan is the quarterback. Burris, he's 6'4" from California.
That's the one. Yep.
Yeah. So
yeah, David Jordan. So yeah, he came in. You got Bryson Martin, who transferred in from Miami, and he played his ball at Clearwater Central. I believe he played with our assistant OL coach, who was a former TJ Demas. I think he was on the same team. And also we got a true freshman quarterback, I think Traven Green from Rockledge.
So
there's people there. We just don't know how.
Well, you still got Hooker. You got Hooker there too.
You got Hooker there too. Right.
Yes.
I'll answer your question, Marcus, that you threw out there. I think what I find interesting is I remember Coach Colsey explicitly talking about how well this team could come together as being a determining factor to the success of this team. He knew that when you lost 40-something guys, I think we talked about it so many times. I feel like that number is ingrained in my head. We lost 40-something guys from last year. And that's whether it would have been Willie Simmons or James Colsey or somebody else, they would have had a major task in whomever is building a cohesive team and get a team that is just coming together in January to bond at the same level of the guys from the last 2 years. The guys from the last 2 years were built like they had been together for some time. There was guys who had been there 2-3 years, right? So them winning that championship was not surprising because they had gone through the journey together, you know? And so this team, I was just looking it up, 36 transfers, 31 FBS, 5 FCS guys, second most among all FCS programs. We have yet to see put it like this. I know Jackson State had a similar situation last year, and some people chuckled about whether they would duplicate their success from the previous season. Well, look at us. We had large number of transfers. Look at how our season went. So I think there is a case study out there to see that when you have so many transfers at such a high number, it will become a challenge for you. And you had a new coach. Remember, add in the new transfers along with new head coach, new coordinator, new DC, new OC. That's a lot of newness.
First time.
Right.
Yeah.
First time newness.
So I'm finna glue together some of what you said with some other points, right? So in trying to compare the Simmons regime, especially early, and this regime, one of the things I can say there's a significant difference was that Coach Simmons had quite a bit of experience as a head coach when he came to FAMU. And his coordinators and the people he brought with him had that experience. They weren't first timers. Also, he was coming to an environment that he knew very well, have been a local product. So he didn't have certain learning curves. He also recruited when he was I remember meeting him multiple times when he was recruiting for other universities. He always recruited Florida, so he already had established relationships. And a lot of the people he brought with him had established relationships with coaches around the state. So those are some things that I do think this staff, and being a new staff, are still trying to establish. But the other big point to that, when you got that many new kids coming in, is I think it's the bigger factor, team leadership. And that's the one thing that was missing. We had a lot of new guys. We have some guys with some talent, but we didn't have, a strong, true team leader. Even right now, Gerald, who would you say is the team leader? Who do they follow?
Don't put me on the spot like that.
I know you. It's hard to say though.
Why wouldn't it have been one of those guys that was part of? We would think it'd be one of those guys that was part of that selection committee. Remember that group of players? Who was it? You had Dean. You had.
So now you're finna bring me to my last point, Bryan.
Go ahead.
With that,
I'm walking you into it.
The players who may have been seen as leaders, you compare them with the previous leaders on the teams. All I'm saying is this: the Isaiah Lands of the world, the Isaiah Majors of the world, the Zay Smiths, they produce during the week and on Saturdays. At the end of the day, you can have a title, you can nominate yourself as the leader, but guys know who produce, and they've seen they tend to follow guys who produce. And I'll just leave it at that. Those guys you talking about in the NFL, those leaders are in the NFL.
Good point. Good point. All right. Good stuff. Good stuff, guys. All right, Gerald. I guess we will see you in Orlando. Gerald, do you get off that? Are you able at any point with all that's going on around FAMU football, are you able to cover anything regarding the what's going on with basketball teams yet? Or is it kind of your high priority is football and, you're kind of you're keeping an eye on basketball, but I haven't really had a chance to kind of get into it just yet?
Yeah, I haven't really got a chance to get into basketball really yet. I went to the women's basketball opener when they played against Howard. But yeah, I haven't been able to get into it because football is so much of a responsibility. But I pay attention. I'll be seeing what be going on. I saw women's they could have beat Jacksonville the other night. So yeah. But I do want to cover a little bit more basketball this year. But I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna just put it out on Front Street. I need people to read it. When I do basketball, people don't read it. So if anybody wondering about, man, I want Gerald to cover more basketball, you got to read the stuff, man, because I can't pitch it if people know it's not gonna get read. So, if you want more basketball, read it, read the stuff, man, read the stuff, share it, and all that, and that'll help me get out there some more. So, yeah,
great point, Gerald, great point indeed. All right, man, safe travels down to Orlando. Yeah. We'll see you. We'll see you down. You getting in Friday. You covering any of the press conference or anything on Friday?
No, I'm missing that stuff on Friday. I mean, I'm not covering so many stuff. They ain't gonna be saying nothing new at that press conference.
Right.
Yeah, so I plan on getting there. Leaving Friday morning, getting out there around the afternoon time. Give me a good night of rest, you know what I mean? Have a little fun in Orlando too. But but yeah, get a little bit of rest and wake up and get ready for the game and cover the game. I don't know, man. I feel like this is about to be a good classic right here. So it's always a fun environment. I wonder if they're gonna have Chick-fil-A in the press box this year. I think last year they sold out on us, but no, I'm excited for it. The classic is always a good experience. This is my third one, so I'm hyped. I'm ready to see how it's gonna go.
I had a thought. I was gonna say that the best press conference might not be a press conference, but it might be that luncheon. The jokes at Friday's luncheon are gonna be ridiculous. There's so Bethune laid some eggs last year. Bethune can't come away with some good jokes this year. There's no hope for them. I mean, there's absolutely, because the jokes write themselves this year. So I mean,
but I would say this, their head coach, it really ain't a jokey joke type.
Yeah.
I don't see him, telling too many. He's kind of
have a new script writer. He better have a new script writer this year.
Hey man, he won't deliver the lines if you gave it to him, man. He just ain't got that personality. He ain't got it when it comes to that kind of stuff. He ain't a showman at all.
Reggie Theus was a shooter. He wasn't going to go hard to he wasn't go hard to the basket kind of guy.
Yeah. He'll do it. Yeah, he'll do it.
Yeah. Look, EA, get out of here. Anyway, messy. What's your prediction for the game, Gerald? I know you just said it's 50-50. How close a game are you predicting?
I'm predicting FAMU 33, Bethune 20.
33-20. You think we can score 33 points, huh? Is that because of the new OC? Is that why you think we can score over 30?
Hey man, they said it was motivated last week when they didn't play motivated. So maybe that was a wake-up call for them to put up another 30 piece. So I got 33-20. So right. I need them to put it at 33 just so I can sleep well Saturday night.
All right. We'll see you there. Make sure to get there early, Gerald. You gotta get there before the traffic gets crazy.
Yeah, man. The traffic. I was just thinking about that earlier, man. The traffic getting to the stadium would be so crazy. I'd be like, man, the media people ain't got their own special lane or something.
No, I'm telling you now, between 9 and 10 is the sweet spot to get to the stadium. I promise you. you'll be able to just breeze on into your parking space. But if you come after, like, if you think, I'm gonna get there at 11, man, it's already chaos. So I'm telling you now, make 9 and 10. That's your window. And outside of 10, you're at your own risk. I'm telling you now. I've done it enough. And I think the last couple times that I missed my after 10, I was mad at myself because it took me like an extra hour to get there. So, yeah. So, all right. And we don't know where. I know Tony asked me, where's our tailgate going to be at? I don't know. Kelvin, where's our tailgate going to be at?
Yeah, I have to let you know. We're going to have to put it out on social media because it ain't going to be in the same spot it was last year. But it's going to be around there, so we'll see.
I hope I get in. I just hope I get an invite, man. I need some ribs.
Absolutely. Man.
Yeah, I'll make sure I get in contact with y'all when I get to the stadium.
Yeah.
Gerald said ribs. We doing ribs? That's somebody doing ribs right
now? Man, we have fried fish, ribs, everything. What?
Okay.
You don't remember what we ate last year?
I do not.
Ooh, that's a shame. I got.
It is a shame. But I look forward. I'll be there this year though, Kelvin. So I look forward.
Okay.
You wear your earrings and shit.
You show?
Oh, look.
You see, I already got mine on. So
I see you got yours. So yeah, they might make an appearance. If it's a bright sunny day, I might make an appearance. We'll see. All right, Gerald, man. Thanks for your time. I always appreciate it.
Thanks, Gerald.
We'll see you. We'll see you Saturday, man. Safe travels down to Orlando.
Appreciate y'all. Safe travels to everybody watching, and always appreciate y'all for letting me come on the show.
Love you, man. Appreciate it.
Anytime.
Peace out. All right. Gerald GT3, Gerald Thomas, Tallahassee Democrat. I'm starting to see the predictions.
Let Marcus get his in so he can go.
Uh-oh.
It's bedtime.
Yeah, man.
All right, Marcus. Go ahead, get it in. Bold prediction and score predictions. Brought to you by anybody who wants to sponsor this segment.
Hey, right. I'm gun shy too, Marcus.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, especially with this game. It's with the veteran squad. This game could be a toss up, or at least kind of nerve wracking. I'm gonna say 28-24 FAM because we just can't seem to crack that mark. And I know last year we won 24-7, but our defense was much more stout, much more consistent. So that's why I'm hedging on the points part. And I think we get another kickoff return touchdown. I think Lockhart's going to take another one back.
All right.
All right. EA is kind of like.
He's just going in.
Yeah, no.
Who? EA?
EA.
Man, I'm ignoring him right now. I love that idea. I love that segment sponsored by HBCU Band Talk. And I even let you say this because if that happens, because you did only because you did. We appreciate the super chat HBCU Band Talk. So man, look, if y'all do that, I'm not wearing any shirts though. I'm telling you that now. I'm already got one T-shirt bet on the line. So I will be rooting for Southern in the SWAC championship game because I'm not trying to be on my Sunday night show wearing the JSU shirt because if I lose that bet. But yeah, so
all right, Marcus, you can go ahead, man. I know you ain't.
All right, Marcus. All right, Marcus. Be well.
All right.
So Bryan.
Yeah.
And about this game, I'm gonna buy the Kool-Aid for this game only because of the egg we laid last week. And let me just say, it's inexcusable that you don't know the pulse of the team. And I'm speaking to the coaching staff on this one, right? The coach, the former OC, play caller, as well as the staff at large.
Mm-hmm.
To be 11 games into the season 10 games into the season, now have a feel for, your team. That's unacceptable. So hopefully the lesson is learned. But in terms of this game, I believe Burris has something to prove, and I think he's got the pedigree. And I still think that this team is talented, significantly more talented overall. And I'm going to assume that we're not going to kick to the kickoff return guy. If we kick to these the whole game, then everything I said is null and void.
He will get 2 returns, Kelvin. Sad as it is, he's going to get 2 returns. Now the question is,
if we kick to that dude,
we're kicking to him.
Well, that's at least 1 touchdown. I predict that right now. But I do think we're gonna light up the scoreboard. I think Burrs is, he's lobbying for the job. This is his audition. I think Daniel want to go out with a bang, and so I expect us to put up points, man. I'm going to go out bold prediction. I think we're going to put 42 up on the board. I do think we'll give up some points. You're right. They probably gonna kick to him. So I say 42-24.
I just can't bring myself to see us scoring.
If we don't fumble, I mean, hell, we would have did it many times.
See, that's a big if. That's a big if. We are what we are. Look, what is it we say? We are what we are. We are what our record says we are. We are an average team. We are 5-5. We are 3-3. We fumble a lot. We fumble too damn much. We are what we are.
But we scored 52 points before. We did do it once.
And we had
against the team that they just beat. So
we had that team. We scored 52 points. We had.
We talking about Saturday.
Okay.
That's my bold prediction. It's Kelvin's bold prediction.
Okay.
What's yours?
I do like what I'm seeing from the running game, and I think my bold prediction is a team rushing total over 200 yards. I think we see the guys have been, and we might have 2 100-yard rushers in that 200. Because, I mean, if you go and look at the stats, Somerset and Franklin, they're like right there. And what's even more amazing, Kelvin, they're rushing 80 to 70 yards, somewhere in that ballpark, and they're doing it in about 10 carries.
They're not getting double-digit carries.
They're not getting double-digit carries. So I'm like, I think it's there to bust wide open, and I think it can happen. And so yeah, I'm going with 200 team total rushing yards over 200, and I'll even sprinkle an extra bonus on 2 100-yard rushers. That's yeah. That's where I'm going. And the score prediction. Man, I'm a gambling man. I can't even, if you gave me 3-1 odds on us scoring over 30 points, I would take it. But I don't know if we scoring over 30. So with that said, I'll go 28. I'll go 28-13. 28-13 FAMU. Yeah. So, yeah, I'll go that round. 85. My bold prediction, 85 will touch the ball more. Yeah. I did want to make a quick mention here as we kind of wrap up the show. We hadn't talked a lot about.
Hold on, Gail. My bold prediction.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the score will be 42-24. My bold prediction is that Bethune will have a special teams touchdown.
There you go. All right. I ain't mad at you on that one because we're kicking. I'm telling you, we're kicking to that kid. There's no we'll talk about it. Look, we'll talk about it in the meetings, and we'll talk about it from the stands, and we'll talk about it here. We'll say, don't kick to that guy. What's gonna happen? He may touch the ball on the opening kickoff when we say don't touch it. Don't kick the what's his number 2? Or is it 7? God bless it. If it's 7, everybody wears 7, just kills us. But anyway, yeah, we're gonna kick to him. He's gonna get the ball. That kid will touch the ball. And yeah, Gail, my prediction: 28-13, 200 plus total rushing yards as a team, and then a bonus of two 100-yard rushers. And his number is number 5. So we'll watch out. We'll kick the number 5.
I got a second bold prediction.
Yeah.
Bethune won't be sharing helmets this game.
Look at you. I thought you were gonna go with where Aaron went. Where Aaron said they won't have new uniforms. No new uniform. I don't know, Aaron. They got some money. They had a couple sponsors donate some nice dollars to the program. I don't know, HBCU man talk. What can you tell us, yo? What are y'all rolling out there with? All right, basketball real quick because as it relates to the men last night played University of Florida. I had a chance to get to the game, and hopefully you checked out the post game that I did with Coach Crary. Go to our YouTube page at ONG StrikeZone, and you can hear his comments. Here's the cold truth. The cold truth. We played the number 21 team in the country in University of Florida. Okay. That by far. And here's what's funny, Kelvin. I went back and looked at the ratings for the 3 other teams that we played: TCU, SMU, and Maryland. That's what? Big 12, ACC, Big 10. All 3 of those teams are rated over 200. I mean, there's 360 some odd teams in Division I. Those 3 teams are rated 300. I mean, well-known teams, and they beat us by 35 plus. I think all 3 of those games. Mm-hmm. Florida is ranked 20th, 21st. And we played them 24-point loss. We covered the 35-point spread. But we held Florida to 41% shooting from the field and 29% from the arc. As Coach said, it was our best defensive performance of the season. We've started to close the gap in our margin. And I think the two big lineup that Coach went with is something that I won't be surprised to see him use more. I mean, both of those guys got more minutes than they probably thought they were going to get. And I mean,
Florida's a big team, no more.
Florida is, and that's another thing. Florida is the biggest team that we will see all season. We won't see Florida is one of the biggest teams in the nation.
Mm-hmm.
So that part we won't see in other places. And to get what we got out of 24 and 20, that was huge.
I agree. And the only thing I would say is, and we need to go with a 2 big lineup if we're going to shoot on 30% from 3-point range consistently.
Yeah, that's the part that Coach is really bothered by at this point in the season. Yeah. And just in case you didn't know, 20 is Jameen Charles. He's a 6'11" junior from St. John's, Antigua. And, of course, 24 is Jadarius Eatman. He's one of the handful of returners from last season. He's 6'10". He's a 6'10" senior or grad student from Birmingham, Alabama. Notably, there was a couple guys who were missing from last night's game. Caleb Washington was missing, but I was really impressed with the performances I saw from Sterling Young, who got 12 points in 17 minutes off the bench. He's a 6'1" guard from Queens, New York. I believe Sterling Young previously was at Charlotte. Yeah, he was at Charlotte last year. So I was really impressed with his ability to attack the basket. Like I said, outside of our inability to shoot the ball, I mean, there were so many things that I liked from what I saw. So the men are home on Friday in Lawson against Presbyterian. No, not Presbyterian. Trinity Baptist College. So they've got Trinity Baptist College on Friday. That's 5 p.m. Eastern. So for anybody who's going to the Classic, before you leave, you may want to stop off and go check out this game.
Where's Trinity Baptist? That's Christian school from where? What preachers we finna beat up on? It's all good, man. Don't worry about it.
You don't want to know. They're from Jacksonville.
Okay.
Yeah, they're from Jacksonville, so they don't have to travel far. But then after that, the men they travel to Clemson a week later. So they after Thanksgiving they go to Clemson, and then they're hosting again Presbyterian College. Now our women, man, I tell you, last week, Kelvin, we were sitting here thinking that when we looked at this 3-game stretch between Jacksonville, University of West Georgia, and UCF, man, there was at least two games.
No,
at least one in a possible, right?
Yeah. You was more optimistic about the JU game than I was, but I did think we could get the West Georgia game, but
the ladies had a tough go of it at Jacksonville on Monday.
They led the whole time.
They led the
surprised
whole
me until the last. And what happened? The point guard fouled out, got out of the game, and from then on, we couldn't score because we couldn't run no offense. We couldn't get no good shots. We couldn't get no good shots.
24-8
in the fourth quarter.
24-8, and they had a young lady who had 20 rebounds. I mean, we gave up 20 rebounds to one young lady. I mean, that part.
No, Brian. I get you, but because overall our rebounding I think was pretty close. But the issue was turnovers. Look at our turnovers for that game. This
14,
game,
7 more than them, and the free throw shooting.
Yeah.
The Jacksonville was 21 of 29 at the free throw line. We were 7 of 13.
Yep.
Again, and free throw shooting has been bad for us. I mean, we're probably. I mean, as a team, I don't even know I don't know if I can pull it up fast enough. We're probably a 50% free throw shooting team as a team.
Yeah, and so my overall take with both the men and women's team,
64%. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, with both the men and the women's team, they out there. They playing some money games, and we understand what that is. But I'll be less than honest if I didn't say that I'm disappointed with the games that that could be more competitive. In men's, I don't think have played one yet, but I'm really disappointed in our 3-point shooting by both teams and our guard play overall. I think our bigs, our forwards are competing and doing the best they can. But our guards are just not getting it done right now. And it's mainly it's 2 areas, or it's 3 areas, and it's for both teams. The turnovers, the 3-point shooting, and the free throw shooting. I mean, basketball, the way the game is played today, you got to have elite guard play. That's how you win. So I don't know. I just hope they continue to get better. But I don't know if the women can fix their issue because I pointed out the first game against Howard that we didn't have a backup point guard in the pure 4-5-4 whatever name. I don't know what the deal was today. She got in for like a minute or two and then really come back out. But without her, we can run no offense, man. We must have had 30 turnovers tonight.
28.
I'm just saying.
That's what that's what I was looking at.
And they 0-4. They were 0-4. Yeah.
We out rebounded them actually, Kelvin. 43-28. We out rebounded them. The problem was, as you pointed out, we were 1 of 9 from the 3-point line. Mm-hmm. They were 6 of 18, which is basically 1 in every 3. If you do the math, that's 1 in every 3 they hit. We were 1 of 9. And I mean, you know, we got off to a slow start, 16-8 at the end of the first quarter. And the only other quarter we won was the second quarter. So, I mean, disappointing losses. We're 0-5. Really thought this was a good week to get at least 1 or 2 wins. Now we Sunday is the UCF game. Matter of fact, I got to get our credentials submitted for that to attend that one. That's it. So for everybody going to the Classic, we want you to hang around, go over to UCF. That's on the east side of Orlando. 1 o'clock Eastern is the tip-off. Go support our women.
Yep. We'll be there.
And then they play, what's scary is after they go from UCF, then they play that Middle Tennessee team, and that team shoots the rock. Mm-hmm. So it's like, Jesus. So, yeah, tough spot. That's all I can say.
Yeah, you just got to grind through it.
Yeah. So, what else? Anything else we missed? Any other hot topics that we needed to touch on before we close up shop?
Well, I think we had a golfer of the week too.
Yeah, you know what? I saw that. Did I pull that graphic? Yeah, matter of fact. Yeah. Again, Sasha Robinson, golfer of the week. Let's see. This is a current story. This link here.
Yes.
Yeah. Robinson was named the SWAC Conference Golfer and Newcomer of the Week following his performance in the Southwest Airlines Showcase at Cedar Crest. Robinson had a great performance at the Southwest Airlines Showcase at Cedar Crest, finishing 7th with a 212. That's -1 overall. On the first day, he finished even par, then went on to have a great day 2, finishing 4 under par. And then he finished the event on day 3 with a 3 under par. So, yeah, congratulations. Good showing there for Sasha Robinson.
Off to a great start, man. Awesome start.
Are they?
And last but not least, you know, SWAC championship in football is set. You know, Southern and Jackson State. There was some fines that came out of the SWAC office. $25,000 for each school, and then a total of what? About 20 players. Suspended this week.
Yeah, the numbers. Hold on, I wanna pull it up. Let's see. Okay, here it is. So on the heels of the post-game altercation between Jackson State and Alabama State, 16 student athletes in total, 7 from Jackson State, 9 from Alabama State, were suspended for their next scheduled contest. Additionally, per the league bylaws and sports regulations, the conference levied a fine against Jackson State in the amount of $25,000, along with a fine against Alabama State in the amount of $25,000. I don't know if those rulings will be appealed or not. The article doesn't say that they will. But Dr. McClellan was
Watching it.
Wrestling. He was watching right there
from field level.
From field level, right there. So ugly. Not a good situation when the commissioner is in town to award a trophy, which is what he was in town there to award a trophy to Jackson State for winning the East Division. And then on the same day, Southern won the West Division with one game left. Their last game is the Bayou, but they're 6-1 now in the SWAC. So Southern and Jackson State is the SWAC championship game on December 7th, 1 o'clock. I think it's 1 o'clock Central. And it's at the Vet. It's at Jackson State. The other incident over in the MEAC involved Howard and North Carolina Central. That game was on a Friday night. And I think there was more involved in that. I think there's upwards of 20 from each team almost.
And about 3 coaches.
Yeah. You got coaches involved, some key players, some news got leaked out in terms of a key player for North Carolina Central. Allegedly, their quarterback might have been caught up in this. So he may be out. That's alleged because it hasn't been confirmed, and really nobody will confirm it because they don't really have to. But so unless the player comes out and says something, that's the only way I think that'll kind of make its way out. What else? It was another incident too. Oh yeah, you had an incident that occurred at the end of the CIAA championship between Virginia State and Virginia Union. It's a lot going on right now, man. I don't know.
And the Celebration Bowl director has said that, in light of all this stuff and it being an ESPN affiliated event, to prevent any potential of any kind of issues, the losing team at the Celebration Bowl will have to immediately leave the field and the coaches will handshake.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. Something in the water this weekend, man.
That's a shame that that's where we are now. We can't.
Yeah. I said what I said on Sunday, but I just hope we can find a way to be a little more gracious. And it starts at the top. It's sports. I know it's sports. I know it's hot.
No, sportsmanship. No, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Sportsmanship.
Oh,
You gotta have it. You gotta have it. And frankly, it's not that hard.
It shouldn't be. For college-educated students, it shouldn't be.
You compete, you fight, man. You wear your colors, and then afterwards, man, you if the other team got it done, congratulate them and go to the locker room.
Yeah,
that's a low bar. Yeah.
All right. Well, stay tuned in on our social media pages, and we'll let you know where we're going to be tailgating from, where we will be on Saturday. If you're alumni and you're going to be bumping around the Hyatt Hotel, I may be down there. I'll probably be down there at the Hyatt bumping around. So look forward to meeting any and all of you that are coming into town for the Classic. Feel free to stop me. I'll be sober. Even with the earrings on, I'll be sober. So look forward to meeting everybody and saying, hey.
Just opening yourself up.
I did. But I want to be here for the people. I want to say, hey, I appreciate everybody who contributes to this show in some form or fashion, whether it be for the super tips. Thank you, HBCU Man Talk. Whether it be through being a JBN subscriber, whether it be just hitting the like and the thumbs up button, whether you download the BCSN Pod Zone on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify Music, however and wherever you consume the content that we put out here on the Black College Sports Network and Jericho Broadcast Networks. I thank you. and we appreciate you. And it is a great day to be a Rattler. Remember that, folks. Rattler Nation, we are still strong. We're still mighty.
18.
And, yeah.
Football players, coach, all the players, we with you. We gonna be there. Help me celebrate my birthday. You messed up last week now. Get it right.
Let's get right. All right. So with that said, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. And where's my play out? Here it is. All right. Coach of our volleyball team that's in Grambling, Louisiana, taking on the SWAC in the SWAC volleyball tournament. First match is on Friday, noon Eastern, 11 Central. Make sure you tune in SWAC Digital Network on YouTube to check that out. Also, we thank Gerald Thomas, GT3, for joining us. Make sure to read all his content on the Tallahassee Democrat. Tallahassee.com, I think, is the website. Make sure to follow Gerald. We always retweet his stuff. So you guys make sure you go check out the articles, and especially make sure the basketball articles. When Gerald does those, please. We want to keep the basketball. We got, we want to keep the content flowing, even out of football season. For Marcus Green, Kelvin Rozier, I'm Bryan Fulford. Thank you, Rattlers. Strike, and strike those dirty Wildcats down one more time. Peace out, Rattlers. Wrong button. Hold on. It's hard trying to do this, man.
EA.
Oh, what's he saying, man?
He's still on you, dog. He's still on you.
That's all right, EA. One of these days. All right, everybody. Peace out.